Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Kata Chronicles. Okay guys, welcome to the 16th episode of the Kata Chronicles. Today's guest is a bit of a hardcore legend. He's been a drummer in quite a few bands, but you'll probably mostly know him for Knuckledust and Argy Bargy. So welcome, Mr. Ray Boosie. How you doing,
How you doing, mate? You all right?
I'm good, yeah, you?
Yeah, Boosie, that's what they call me when they're taking a piss. Boosie? It's Bussy, big red bus.
Bussy. You know what? I've never heard anyone actually say it.
Nah.
It's one of them things.
It's all my life. I've never been called that. Boosie. People try to do it politely, didn't they? But it's Bussy.
Bussy. Or Ray Dust, which is what most people probably call you.
Or Roy Dirt when I'm really pissed. Whatever you prefer. I've been called worse. It's fine.
Lovely. How's Tristan doing?
Yeah, man. He's good. I've packed him up. He's in the cupboard. But yeah, he's ready for it. I'm going to do something else with that. I don't know what. Tristan's got a future.
There's probably about 10 people that know what the fuck we're talking about at the moment.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That was all done. It was part of the Cocksparrow competition. You can watch it on YouTube, one by one. It's a Cocksparrow song that they gave the music out there. Just put music only out there and said, go ahead, make your own videos, sing songs, whatever. And it was all for a competition to win a package of Cocksparrow goodies, white label stuff and that.
Yeah.
And I was in lockdown. I was bored. And so I did the song and made the video with the character of Tristan. It was supposed to be an East End Shoreditch hipster from Surrey. So, Tristan.
You won that as well, didn't you? Did you win that? Did you win that?
I won it, yeah. I won it. Yeah, I haven't received anything. So I've got to chase them up on that. But
right, excuse me, where's my fucking shit?
Hello, you promised me some shit. This was a day's work went into that, writing and recording and making a video. So yeah, I want my shit. Message to Sparrow. There you go.
That's fucking brilliant video. That cracked me up. But then, I mean, I don't know if people know this, but like you did a couple of stand-up sets as well, didn't you?
I did, yeah. Charity things that I was doing. Well, actually, I was going to give it a good go a while ago, probably about 10 years ago now. I did some comedy classes at King's Cross when I was living in London. And then every Tuesday night, a lady called Kate Smurthwaite, who she's got a YouTube video that she's pretty famous for called, what's they call it now? She's going to kill me if she ever hears it. But yeah, so anyway, I'm gonna Google it while I'm on the phone because it's important people see that. But it's about she was the course teacher, and I thought it'd be good actually to. I've always wanted to do it, and it was an opportunity to learn from her. So yes, I went to these classes and done a 6-week course, and at the end of it, done a gig, and we done a gig in London. All the people from the class, and it was just purely the hardcore scene at the gig.
Yeah.
You know, that 40 people of our mates that were all there, and the other guys on the course were these sort of quiet, studenty types. You know what I mean? And one middle-aged geezer who run a tech business of some sort. He was pretty loaded, I think. And then they saw our crowd come in. You know what I mean? They was like, "Fucking hell, man! Who brought all these people?" Like they were really scared.
There's half of London hardcore just strolls through the fucking
thing. Yeah. They were shit. But actually, everyone was really respectful, and it was a good gig. And then I wanted to carry on doing it. But then I moved from where I was living, everything moved to Watford. And then I just didn't, time passes. Anyway, when I come down to Brighton, I heard there was another one doing a similar thing. So I just did it again. And then I did another gig and I was going to get that going. I thought there's loads of little comedy clubs here in Brighton I could do, just get some stuff going on a real low level and just try and get my confidence up to do it all. And then fucking coronavirus hit.
Yeah.
So I am going to do it. I've started doing it now. I've learned a lot about it. I'm just going to get on with it. Just do it.
Say that was going to be the next question. Is there plans to do more? But obviously, if there's definitely
I definitely want to do it. It's something new. Like if you've anyone who's ever tried stand-up comedy is one of the hardest things you can do. Good comedians make it look easy.
Yeah.
They'll stand there and just have a chat and write jokes and create jokes, but there's so many techniques to doing it well and to getting it right. And part of the reason I did it is because I was watching comedy one night and just saying, this is just fucking shit. It's not funny. I could do better than this. And, my girlfriend at the time was like, well, stop fucking banging on about it. Go and do it. So I thought, you know what, I fucking will. So part of it was just to prove her wrong and shut her up.
Yeah.
And so I went up and did it. And I found out that actually it's fucking hard, man. When one light shines on you and there's a load of people sitting there with kind of half angry faces saying, make me laugh.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Their faces are saying, you're shit. You're not going to be funny. You're shit.
Yeah.
Like, the pressure's on, man. As soon as that light flishes on,
I mean,
there's only you as well. It's not like being in a band. It's completely different.
I mean, I've been in like comedy clubs as the audience member. We used to go to the one that was up in Bethnal Greenway. There used to be a comedy club.
Jongleurs.
Is it Jongleurs?
Jongleurs, I think. Oh, yeah, Lee.
Yeah. I can't remember Lee, bald guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he used to do it. And he would be like the guy sort of bringing up the people.
Right.
And but we'd sit down in front, and the first few of a night, you would know we're going to be shit.
Yeah.
You're just sitting there being like, it's your first or second timer, they're not used to it, and you can see the fear flashing through their faces.
Yeah,
they're just like,
I mean, I'd say it's a lot different. That's why I want to do it, because I want to have the bad gig. You know what I mean? Mine have been pretty good, but they've been it's all been like coming from a vibe of, oh, these are new guys, give them a bit of support, give them a round of applause. You know what I mean? You kind of get away with murder because everybody's saying, oh, don't be hard on him, he's brand new. And it's a brand new showcase for everybody doing it. So you get a bit of love, you know what I mean? You get a bit of sympathy. But I want to walk into the Lion's Den. I want to do it, you know what I mean? Proper fucking Northern Workingmen's Club, somewhere like that, where they're going, fuck off, you bastard. And,
especially you being in London, and they're going to be like, right, fuck you.
Fucking bring it on, man. I'm ready. I'm ready to go to the Brunendale Club in Leeds on a fucking Monday night or something and do it. You know what I mean? To get up there and do it.
I mean, that's definitely going to be like the proving grounds, is when people you've got past that point of, it's their first or second time, like you say, everyone's sort of just clapping out of politeness.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, this guy's supposed to be a proper comic, is he?
Yeah, exactly.
See what he's got, and they're just waiting to boo you off stage.
That's when you really put to the test, because you can write a set. You can same as writing your first album. You've got all the time in the world to do that. You can write the most perfect comedy set, but if you can't handle a crowd, that falls to fucking pieces quick, man. And there's just you and that light shining on you, and nobody else in the room. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I've seen comics do both, like handle it really well and fall apart under pressure, sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, I've sort of got things ready for them situations. Like from what I learned from Kate. Kate's thing, by the way, which I should say, I'm going to talk about, is called Atheist Bitch Slap. It's on YouTube. 4.2 million views. She was on a talk show.
I'm definitely going to watch that tonight.
Yeah. It's got 4.2 million views and like millions of comments. It created a debate around the world. But, she teaches you a lot about handling the crowds and what to do and techniques. And it's all technique. These guys, they look so natural doing it.
Yeah.
One of the masters of it is Jimmy Carr. Someone will shout something in the audience and boom, he's got 10 minutes of set off the back of something completely random, and that's why he's huge, because he's good at it. He's good at whether you find him funny or not is irrelevant. But I'm talking about his technique of delivery, of phrasing it, of remembering everything. That's fucking,
I saw him
because I ain't got a great memory, but he'll just you could shout a word out and he's got 10 minutes on that, man. He'll just go at you.
It's like I saw him come to it was the Dave Chappelle and someone else's Jon Stewart thing at the Royal Albert Hall. Ian got me tickets. So went up there, and Jimmy Carr wasn't supposed to be on the bill, but he was in the area and he came to do 20 minutes as like a warm-up tryout for his new material.
Yeah.
And he was like, look, and so he was like, I don't know if any of this works. This is the first time I'm trying this shit out, and I'm trying it out in front of the Royal Albert Hall. And he just went, and like some of it worked, some of it didn't. But the stuff that did, even the stuff that didn't work, he was able to twist it and turn it and manipulate it so that it at least got a bit of a laugh out of it, sort of thing.
Yeah.
He was able to almost make a joke out of the fact his joke had failed, sort of thing. Which is, that's a talent to be able to twist that around.
It's an art, man. It's an art. It's an art to doing it. And there's millions of comedians out there, and a lot of them. I mean, I go to the comedy clubs here in Brighton prior to COVID. And there's some really funny guys, and there's some guys that you just think, this ain't for you, mate. You need to go and work on the checkout at Tesco's. This ain't for you. You know what I mean? So, Yeah, I just want to find that out for myself. You know what I mean? Get up there. You don't find these things out unless you give them a go.
No, exactly. I mean,
give it a go. Throw yourself in there.
It's one of them things where it's like that's something I'm just not funny. Like in my I'm not a
You're
funny
a
person.
funny guy, Johnny.
So I'd be like, I'd never do comedy. Like, I struggle getting up in front of a fucking audience with a band.
Yeah. Well, actually, one of the reasons I wanted to do it, I was Nicky's best man, and I was best man for Dave the Weakness as well at both their weddings, and I really enjoyed doing it, standing there talking, mugging them off, and making jokes. I loved it. You know what I mean? I thought this was fucking brilliant. Everyone was laughing. I thought it was going well. It was going quite well. But again, it's in that situation where you get a bit of sympathy from the crowd because you're the best man. So people are going to laugh, and you're not going to get heckled and
unless you get too like fucking dodgy with what you're saying. You know?
Yeah. Oh no, I went in, man. Fuck it. Yeah, I just went in.
I'm sure Nicky loved that.
Oh, it was great. Yeah, his parents loved it even more. I think having a go at it, done like that. But I just thought after that, I'm going to give this a go, see if I can do it to a random crowd, and then that was what happened. But yeah, I'm definitely going to do more of that. That's my, one of the things to do.
Yeah, definitely. If it's something you want to do, then just fucking balls to the wall, go for it, innit, and see what happens.
Yeah, I'm going to do it. I mean, the thing is, you take so long to write a set. I've got a set now, so you just got to go and do it and deal with the people that try and shut it down. You know what I mean?
I think a lot of it is with a set is like, obviously you've got the joke you want to tell, but it's the flowing between them jokes. That's the real art, getting from one joke to the next.
Yeah.
The really good comedians, the people like Bill Burr and like Jimmy Carr, that can flow between one joke to the next almost seamlessly without you realizing you've moved on, being like, oh shit, like this is a completely different topic now.
Or a lot of what I do is exaggerate stories as well to make them funny. So it's not really telling jokes like Tim Vine would get up and tell a million jokes. And, mine's more sort of, I don't know, it's a mixture of it. I don't even know what it is. But
doesn't Tim Vine hold the record for the most amount of jokes in like a set period of time or something?
Yeah, he does. He does
all the one-liner jokes, and it's like bang, bang,
he does
bang,
one-liners and punchlines. He just delivers them. And sorry, turn it off. And he's the master of that. But that's not something I could do. That guy has got a phenomenal memory.
Yeah.
To just bounce jokes like that, bam, 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 and he just does it for an hour and a half.
What's amazing with that kind of thing is it doesn't matter if every joke's not funny, because within 10 minutes you've heard about 20, 30 jokes, 2 or 3 of them are going to have made you laugh.
There's another one a second later, and he's good as well. He's got technique, because when it gets a bit, mate, you can tell when he's starting to get a bit frazzled, and so he turns around to his props box.
Yeah.
And he's got a fishing rod with a brain on it or something, and there's a joke there, or a set of wellies or something like that, and then bam, and it gives him ideas for the jokes,
Yeah.
And probably on the back of that box somewhere is like, do your 10 minutes on, whatever. He'll pick a subject, and that'll prompt him, I reckon. He goes back to the mic, and then he'll do his 10. Then he's got the fucking the pen behind the ear game. Now that shouldn't be funny. But you're cracking up laughing. There's a geezer just trying to get a pen to sit behind his ear with a silly song behind it. And the harder he tries, the funnier it gets.
Yeah, exactly.
Pathetic, but it's just funny. It works. So, I don't know. Yeah, give it a go. Find out what's going on.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, when you said about exaggerating stories, I don't know if you know of an American comedian called Bert Kreischer.
No, I don't know.
So he has this story that he's famous for, where he basically has got to the point where it's expected for him to tell this joke now. Whatever the set, he has to end the set on this one joke, which is a story. It's called The Machine, where as a kid in university or whatever, he got caught up with the Russian mafia on a trip to Russia, and like he ends up becoming like the Russian mafia's mascot. On this trip sort of thing. It's a fucking brilliant story, but someone that's been stretched and exaggerated somewhat to make it more ridiculous than it actually fucking probably was.
Never let the truth get in the way of a good story.
No, exactly.
And I guess like similar is Mickey Flanagan. Whenever he's live, he's got to talk about out, hasn't he? He's got to do that.
Yeah,
got to drop it in there somewhere because people want to hear that now. Just popped out, and now I'm out.
Yeah, and, it's that proper like it's that sort of one joke or one line that's become synonymous with that person.
Yeah,
and they have to fucking do it. Otherwise, everyone's like, "Well, you've
got to touch on it or deliver something to do with it."
Yeah, I mean, in the same way as like with music, you guys have to play certain songs.
Yeah,
like
pisses me off.
Like Knuckledust, basically, if you don't play 25 Years Dead, people will be upset with you.
Yeah, well, yeah. If there are people at the show, they would, yeah.
I mean, let's be honest. Knuckledust these days are not going to pull a fucking empty room.
Yeah, well, yeah. fortunately, it's been going quite well lately. I mean, pre-corona.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't
Um,
complain.
Going to that, obviously, post-corona, according to the government, we'll all be out of lockdown by the 21st of June.
Oh, mate,
Should
it's
mean,
madness. Yeah,
should mean your 25th anniversary show.
I'm fingers, toes, everything crossed for that because I think that could be one of the first shows back
I
after
think it will
lockdown if
be.
it happens.
I think it will
And I
be.
think that would just add to the atmosphere of what is, it's an already sold out show. You guys playing it as well. We got Infraction, we got Stone Hand, and Nine Bar, and for me, that's a fucking party, man. That is.
I mean, like, we obviously when you hit me up to play it, I was like, this is fucking nuts. Because the first thing, like I've said before, like on my phone, it doesn't say what the message is. It just says messenger notification and who sent the message. And I'm like, the fuck does Ray want? What the fuck have I done wrong now? Because I assumed that I've said something online or something that's pissed everyone off. And I'm just like, oh, what the fuck have I done now? And then it was like, oh, because you did it on the morning that we were about to release the EP.
Oh, right.
That evening, the EP went live on Spotify.
Oh, yeah. I remember you. I think you spoke about this, didn't you, with when you had Hannah on?
Yeah.
Yeah. I
And I was,
didn't realise I did that. I just fired it off. I was spoke to the boys. I was like, "Well, should we get to play it?" And we had a few bands, and we said, "There you go. We're getting Fraction. They've got something new coming out. Got
yeah.
it going on." So it was like, "Yeah, let's do it."
So yeah, and like we reached the EP that night, but I got the message from, and I was like, oh, what the fuck have I done wrong? I flicked it through, and I was like, yeah, of course we want to play it. And I didn't even message the rest of them. I was just like, right, yes, we'll play it. And then went to them. I don't care what you're doing that day. You're playing a show, because I know, especially with Hannah and Ferg, they get invited to a lot of their friends' weddings, and friends generally have weddings in the summer.
Yeah.
And it was just like, look, July 17th, whatever the fuck you think you're doing, you're not.
Yeah.
You've got new instructions, and it is you're playing this show. And thankfully, like,
Well, I
everyone
mean,
was free for it.
yeah, I was worried about. I mean, I didn't think in a million years it'd sell out. To be honest, we did it with Barnet Mark, who used to do the shows at the 12 Bar. He was the one that got me the 100 Club through another guy called Andy Chesham, who does the Human Punk shows there.
Yeah.
Because it's such a legendary venue. A lot of our crowd have never even been in there.
No.
And it's one of them places that's sort of like a spine tingling, man. There's pictures of it from like the 70s, I think the 60s, but there's pictures all around the wall,
Yeah.
the wall of the 100 Club of what are now huge respected artists
Yeah.
that have played there throughout the years. It's a
I mean,
real
someone
sort
put the
of,
video up the other day of Metallica playing there in like 87.
yeah, Metallica, there's loads. I mean, I posted loads of pictures before we announced that we was going to play there.
Yeah.
And Nas, you go through the genres,
This is it. Like, I've been there to see like a couple of hip hop things. I saw Ghostface there.
Yeah.
And shit like that.
Sex Pistols did their first gig there. I mean, it's so many legendary bands, and I just thought it was pretty criminal that UK hardcore has never represented itself in there. And Gallows played there.
Yeah.
But from what I hear, and I might be wrong, the guys from Gallows could correct me on it, and I'll accept that. But from what I hear, that was an industry event of some sort.
Okay.
So this is a DIY hardcore. This is me.
Yeah.
And Barnet Mark looking this gig. You know what I mean? So this is a DIY hardcore event at the 100 Club. And it was a gamble because it cost a lot of money to put on a gig at the 100 Club, believe it or not. You rent the venue. You don't just walk in there and take over the door. It's not like other venues.
Yeah.
You pay the fees of everyone and everything and your rent up front. So I paid it thinking, fuck, I hope I get this money back. And it sold out. So we got the money.
It sold out fucking quick as well, didn't it?
Yeah, within 2 weeks, which was, I was shocked, man. But yeah, I was really happy, really proud as well, all that stuff, because this is us. This is no one else. There's no big companies pushing this.
Yeah.
It's just us and an Instagram picture and a Facebook picture that sold it out. So, and now the way it's panned out, if it happens, then the show will be even better than we all thought, because everybody's just going to be itching to get out of their fucking houses and have a nice pint of lager from a flowing tap with some hardcore in the background, you know what I mean? And I'm going to find it really hard to not be part of that party myself and drink a few drinks because I've got to play the drums later on. I'll see what I can do.
That'd be a fucking good laugh. I mean, I'm sitting there thinking to myself, you know what? This is going to, because obviously Infraction are the second band on, I believe we are.
Yeah.
I will be the first LBU person to ever play the 100 Club.
I never thought of it that way. That's fantastic. Man, your history. So that makes Stone Hand the first hardcore band. Well, the only hardcore band from Brighton to play there. I don't know if Royal Blood or something like that from the Metals play there, but yeah, that's an interesting stat. There you go. You've got that in the locker forever. No one can ever take it.
Yeah.
That's the crown.
I'll be walking back and forward across that stage a few times before I even utter a word. I think I'll just be like, this is the fucking 100 Club. Because it is, like, it's a legendary fucking venue.
I mean, look, I'm not getting carried away still because, this weekend I was driving down the seafront and I live in Brighton.
Yeah.
And the crowds down there were just fucking massive. And I thought, don't fuck this up now. You know what I mean? We're
so
come
close.
so far. And I don't want to sound like the government, but on this one, I just have to. I have to say, look, just if you can, just stay home.
Yeah.
Don't go out. Don't mix. Don't drive this fucking R rate up. Take your vaccines if you can. You know what I mean? And just do it because I want to play the gig. That's the only reason.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's it. It's like we do that, and then I think it's 2 weeks later, if everything's going ahead, we get the UK Hardcore Returns.
Yeah, I mean, you can have this half-assed go out now this week and meet people in the park, but just hang on, man. Hang on a couple of months and go and have a proper beer and a hug with your mates and spill it over each other and, you know, whatever you want to do in a crowd. Let's do it like that. Let be the reunion, not this fucking Starbucks coffee round the park with someone you ain't seen. I mean, I get it for the older people want to see their grandkids and all that. That's all fine. Go see grandma. If you've had your vaccine, she's had her vaccine. Go do all that stuff. But, you know, us of our ages, the 20s to, 50s, just stay the fuck away from each other for a couple of more months. Just stay away from each other.
And
2 more months.
We can all go back to having our normal lives, or as close to our normal lives as we're ever going to get again.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that's where I'm at the moment, That's where I want to be at the moment, not just for the club, the 100 Club show. I was meant to be getting married. I've cancelled my wedding twice. Yeah. And, I haven't seen my old man for ages. He's 80 years old. So things like that. Everybody wants to just get back to doing what they get planned. You know what I mean?
I mean, the only thing I'm disappointed with is I'm going to have to go back to work.
Yeah, well, I never stopped working through it. Fortunately, I've been able to do most of what I do from home. I've been working from home a lot, but what I do is in construction, so I have to go to the sites now and again. But I've been doing it safely. I've been telling people to stand back, stay away. I've got masks and gloves and all that sort of stuff on, and I do my bit. But I'm fortunate, to be honest. A, that I've held on to a job when lots of people are losing theirs, and B, that I've been able to do it from home. So I thank my lucky stars for that, to be honest.
I mean, I'm one of the lucky ones, obviously furloughed. My company's not going anywhere. It's not going to disappear anytime soon. They've done actually really well in lockdown from their sort of click and collect and online shit.
Yeah.
So in that regards, I'm safe, and I've said a few times, I'm actually better off when I'm on furlough because I'm not paying fares to get to work. So the 20%...
Well, I was going to say, for me, the lockdown has been... It's been great. To be honest with you, like I had 2 months on half pay, which was a bit crippling. But then I wasn't out spending anything, so it didn't hurt me as bad as I thought it was gonna. I was panicking a bit, and I was like, "Oh, that's not so bad." And then at the end of last year, they paid it back to us because the company actually done well.
Yeah,
and I said, to me, it was like saving some money, which I never do. There we go. And I've been trapped down here in Brighton with Liron, and we've fortunate again in the summer. I built the roof garden on the top of my house and overlooking the sea and that. So for me, it's just been chilling up there. I've been working from up there, and it's been great. I can't complain. In fact, when we are allowed out, I'm not going to be going to the pub every weekend. I'm going to carry on doing the lockdown thing because I'm quite happy with it now.
Yeah, you've got used to it.
Well, it's just made me realise how much money you waste on shit, on Costa Coffees and Starbucks and stuff when I'm running around London. I've got to go in there and use their Wi-Fi to do something for work. So I'll have a pastry and a coffee. That's £8.
Yeah.
You're doing it 2-3 times a day, and next thing you're broke and you're wondering why. And then you have a coronavirus hit, and it makes you think, man, this is it. This is why you just spend money on just dumb shit.
Well, one of the other things we've been hearing is obviously a lot of companies have gone, well, hang on, we don't need to have staff in these offices. They can work from home. Clearly, they've been doing it for the last year. So now they're closing down office spaces and getting smaller offices
Oh, that's without question. I mean, a lot of work I do at the moment is with architects in London,
Yeah,
helping them with mainly acoustics and design and stuff of data centers and schools and stuff like that. So I speak to them, and at the moment they're all working from home, and pretty much all of them are telling me that they're not renewing the leases on these expensive office floor buildings they've got in London when the lease is up. Can you imagine being the leaseholder and taking these companies and saying, right, we've got to renegotiate the lease for the next, whatever it is, 10 years, and we want X amount of million a year? They're just going to say, no, mate.
yeah,
What planet are you on? You know what I mean? You're going to have to half that or
yeah,
take 2/3 off of that before I even consider it. Because if the company's making money with people working from home, using their own electricity, their own water, eating
yeah,
their own food, and making their own cups of teas and all that, then they're just not going to do it if the company's making money. If you need to be together, I mean, a lot of them, what they're saying is they're going to use these like Regus lounges and WeWork spaces and stuff like that to get together for their meetings. But you know,
yeah,
London, I think London is it's going to be in a bad way for a long time to come now.
yeah,
I think we're going to have 10 years. I mean, I was talking about the business side of London, you know.
yeah,
Um, I think that economy will be shot because also with architects, a lot of them are not British. They're Spanish, Greek, wherever, you know,
yeah,
Portuguese guys. A lot of them are working from around the world. And a lot of them have gone back home, but are still doing the work because we can do this via Zoom and via laptops. So they said, you know, can I fly back?
yeah.
And if I need to come back, I'll come back. And people say, I don't, yeah, go for it. As long as you submit your drawings and your work to me by the cut-off date, I don't care where you're doing it from.
Yeah, exactly. And this is the thing. It's like we're in a world of technology now. We don't need to go anywhere for a lot of jobs.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
the
And
only
there's more feedback coming back to people like Zoom and Microsoft Teams saying, if you could just do this and that, then there'd never be another need for an office. And there's things that they're doing. They're developing their, you know,
yeah,
their platforms and their softwares to be able to meet the needs of the people. Because the people only ever used it to talk to their fucking grandma and stuff for a little while, you know, doing this kind of thing.
yeah,
You know, Zoom, I mean, business, yeah, they did it overseas and stuff. But now you're talking about running it like an office. It can do much more. So these platforms now, these people have taken on people to try and improve what it can do. And I actually think that's the way it's going to stay now. We've all just changed our way of working.
well, this is it. It's like, I mean, just from a sort of creative point of view, I couldn't have done. Well, I could have done podcasts. I've done them in the past without Zoom, but it's so much easier.
Yeah.
Because in the past we'd have been Skype, but Skype wouldn't have been recording it. So I'd have had me recording my end, you recording your end. You'd have then sent me that file. I'd have had to line it all up and put it through like production process like that. With this,
No, we'd have met up in the World's End at Camden, and I'd have been off my tits talking shit. It would have been a fantastic interview. You'd have loved it, but I'd have come out of it looking pretty bad. So I'm glad
yeah,
we can do it this way. Yeah, yeah,
yeah. On this, it's like I click a record button on the bottom of the screen. It records both ends of the conversation because it just records the video, and I just take
yeah,
the audio from that and just clean it up a bit. That's it.
yeah.
Like my band recorded a fucking EP, wrote an EP over Zoom.
Yeah, we're the same. We're recording 5 songs in April, hopefully, if I'm allowed to. Looks like we are. But yeah, the same. Just flying things around on WhatsApp.
Well,
Yeah,
studios
I
are
mean, you
open,
know,
practice rooms are
right.
open now.
Yeah, we're speaking to the guy and he thinks it's going to be okay. And plus, all of us, well, I don't know about Pierre, but Nick, obviously being NHS, has had his vaccine. Waymer's had his vaccine. I'm getting mine on Friday.
Yeah,
So I can record with them too, no problem. And Pierre can just do his thing on his own. We don't need us there anyway for that. So, or there's separate rooms, isn't they? You can go in a little, lock them in a cupboard somewhere singing, and we'll just stay in another. I don't mind. But yeah, look, there's ways of doing it safely, and we'll record it. We'll do it. We'll
yeah.
record it. It's got to be out by the 100 Club show. So
And how was the writing process? Because I remember chatting to, I think it was you or Nikki when you did Bluffs, Lies and Alibis. And Nick, I think it was Nick, and he was like, "Fuck me, we just argued all day long, every day." During
yeah, this is well. Here's the thing. That's when you're together in a room trying to write an album. But with this, we're not. We've just, Waymer fired over some music that we recorded in his home studio. I learnt drums to it. So me, Nick, and Waymer got together before the second lockdown, like November last year, something like that, October, for a couple of rehearsals. We played the music, got that down, and then we sort of put the pressure on Pierre and said, "Look, you come up with the lyrics," because Pierre's lyrics are better than ours, and we just wanted him to write it this time. And we put him under a bit of pressure. So come on, you got to do it, man. So then Waymer sent in the recordings. Pierre's got a little home studio as well.
Yeah.
And he just sent the songs back. And then we, excuse me, then we just tweaked them a bit, said, Pierre, drop this bit or move this bit around. You know what I mean? Just played around with it. And it happened. And then you got, at the moment, of the 5 bits of music we've got 3 good songs out there.
Yeah.
2 more still being written as we speak tonight, just before I come on here. Waymer sent the latest version over of one of them. So, you know, there's been no arguments. So that could be the way we do it going forward. You know what I mean? It's Bluffs was different because Bluffs was like, you know, we all come around my kitchen and finish writing the actual song Bluff Like Now, like writing the lyrics on the fucking kitchen table and that. So to do things like that, you're under pressure. And the good thing with this release as well, we're not on a record label.
No,
we're not with anyone at the moment. You know, previous releases are all on GSR Music, but this one we're doing it ourselves. So, you know, there's been no pressure for us to get certain things in by certain dates and all that, which you normally would have. Understandably, by the way, I'm not trashing the label, but you know, they've got to do things in certain time because they want to get a magazine article out or they want to get something going. There's a program of
they
things
want marketing and all that ready to go.
Exactly. Yeah. I need your final tape by this cut-off date because the week after I've got a review coming in for so-and-so and blah, blah, all that sort of stuff. So It's always been like that in the past. And this one, there's been none of that. We just said, look, we're just going to write music and just put the music out. And then all the reviews, if anyone wants to review it, it will be out. And then you can review it if you want to or not. It's up to you. But the only thing we've done is a piece for Down for Life magazine. I've done it with Tom Barry last week. Talking about the 25 years of history, really, and he was getting deep into it and sent some nice old photos along for it and stuff like that. That should be an interesting piece. But yeah, the release, it'll come out.
So is this going to be a digital only release?
No, it's going to be vinyl and digital. So vinyl and Spotify, but there'll be no CD.
Yeah.
CDs for me are a waste of time at the moment. They just don't, nobody buys them anymore. There'll be a very limited amount of people. So there's only 5 songs as well. So I'm not going to put out a CD that I have to sell for like, you know, 8 to 12 quid with 5 songs on it. It's just going to mug everyone off. So what we'll do with the 5 songs, if people want them on a digital release, then we'll talk to people about doing it as a split with someone or something like that. And maybe, I don't know, whatever. We'll see. But initially it's just going to be a vinyl, but the vinyl is going to be tasty. We're going to do it as a nice package.
Yeah.
You know,
you guys organise it yourselves.
Yeah, I've been doing it, speaking to the guys at Pirates Press. So it's going to be a nice looking bit of vinyl and a sleeve and all that stuff. Because again, when you're with the label, the budgets are tight and they don't want to spend too much on that stuff because they know they're only going to sell a certain amount and they need to make money to do the other stuff, other releases and blah, blah. But where this is just us, we can say, all right, all the money goes into the release. I don't care if I don't make a lot back on it, just as long as I can cover whatever costs. So there's going to be a lot of cost going into it. Yeah. And we'll have to sell it and we ain't going to make a lot back. But I'm happy with that. As a limited edition, you know, 300 only release for our 25th anniversary party, then it'll be something that will be collectible. There'll be 300 of them. That's it. After that, it won't come out again. It will come out only on a CD or on Spotify or digitally, you know, YouTube, whatever platform. Yeah. I'm not very good at that stuff. I'm showing my
I mean, like, the way I put our stuff up digitally is we do it through a group called DistroKid.
I've never done it, so I'll probably be coming to you for how to do that. Actually,
it's so simple. DistroKid, I think the charge is like $7.99 a year.
Yeah,
which you have to pay to keep it up there. So even if you pay it 1 year and you don't pay it the next year, it'll take everything down.
Right.
Although you can pay a one-off £50 fee to have it kept up there, what they call a legacy thing. So even if you don't keep your subscription up, it just stays wherever. But they distribute it to every digital outlet like Apple, Spotify, and a bunch of ones you've never heard of. Like, there's shit that I get emails from. They go, your thing's now live on this. And I'm just like, I'm not even going to bother running a fucking Facebook post for that because I've never heard of it, which probably means 99% of the people I know have never heard of it.
Yeah, but some things are popular in other countries that you're not aware of. Aren't they? You know, like Germany's main platform is YouTube, not Spotify.
Yeah.
And there's all sorts of info, but I mean, the info that these digital things, I was very anti all that stuff. I was all about physical release, holding a booklet and all that. But I've gone on the turn over the last few years because I've looked at it. Is that all right? It's part of life now, so you've got to go with it. People a lot younger than me, you know, they haven't even held a physical CD. They couldn't give a monkeys about it. You know what I mean? They're only going to get their stuff digitally.
Yeah.
So you've really got to try and make it as best you can for that audience, for those people of that age group, or whatever it may be. So that's what we're looking at doing, really tweaking our Spotify, getting the YouTube channel. You know, I'm trying to get some more subscribers to the YouTube channel so I can start putting out more exclusive content, if you like, for people that might give a shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, you know, we're talking about it. We're not very good at this stuff. We're well behind. We know that. We accept it. We're being dragged into it by, you know, by the world of technology. I mean, you speak to Baxter about it, and I can see him there. He's screaming at the thing, going, "Fuck it! I don't want nothing to do with it. They're a bunch of guns." You know, he'd be going crazy. But so I suppose me and Wayne were really the ones sort of dragging it through this sort of technological age. Dig, I can't even say that. You know what I mean?
Showing your age there, Ray.
But yeah, I'm getting advice. Look, there'll be a lot more going on with YouTube and Spotify for this release and going forward, I think.
Yeah.
For the subscribers. For the kids, man. For the kiddies.
That's it. I mean, we've done 2 EPs. We've got a third one we're working on, which will be digital only. And I was like, the only time I'll do a physical really is I think we've got a split we're working on as well with someone that's going to have a little physical release.
Yeah.
But vinyl only sort of thing, 2 tracks per side. I said I'd do a full length. I'd put that out on vinyl.
Yeah.
Just because I'd like to have a full length release of one of my bands on vinyl. And it's more of I'd want it for me. If anyone buys it or not, whatever, you know what I mean? But I'd like to have that for me. And I'm quite happy to pay for that ourselves out of band money and us putting the money together. If it makes money, it makes money. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
Well, the thing is, and that is it, albums, you know, although nowadays the way to get heard is to throw your YouTube video out, but you know, there's a lot of bands out there that are very good at the digital stuff. They're the opposite of us in a way. That they can put out there, market themselves much better than I can ever dream of doing it. In fact, I feel like grabbing some of these kids and saying, look, there's a few quid, sort my shit out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But they can do all that stuff. But at the end of the day, right, it doesn't matter what you do. You can release any album you want physically, CD, vinyl. You can put whatever effort you want into the digital world. You can build up your followers, build up your street, all that. But at the end of the day, you've got to kill it live.
Yeah.
If you can't fucking play live, all of that shit falls apart. You know, and you will have seen it yourself. You see a band online marketing essentially, these they look fucking tasty, man. I can't wait to see them. And you see them and they're an absolute pile of dog shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Rubbish. And the crowd are like, what the fuck was that? You know, we've all seen a band like that, right? So that's where the you know, you can do all that stuff, but you've got to back it up live. You've got to go live, and your main aim of the live show is to fucking smash it.
Yeah.
And if you don't do that, forget about all the rest of it, because that's not important. That is not what people, you know, a lot of people get in their favourite bands are because they saw them live.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, I can pick 20 recordings now. I can go on Spotify, grab a playlist and 20 different songs from 20 different bands, and it will sound like one long song to me a lot of the time. But when I see that band live and I see the energy, the charisma, you know what I mean, the blood, the sweat and the tears of
that's what it is.
Those bands that are really good at it, and one of those bands that are a pile of shit, then it's the band that stands out, isn't it? That you're going to say, fuck, man, these lot are good. And then all that marketing stuff, you can market, you can have a nice logo, you can order. I don't give a fuck. I've seen you live and you're rubbish.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And this is it.
That's what it boils down to. And I don't know, people are welcome to say that about us. I'm not talking particularly about Knuckledust, you know, but I just think that is what it is all about, killing it live. Now, I know we've had some stinker shows, and there'll be people that say, you want to talk, I've seen you play, you nearly fell off the fucking trumpet. And that's fair enough, but I'm not trying to make it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Knuckledust ain't trying to make it. A lot of people are, but they're going the wrong way about it. They're putting too much emphasis on the admin side of things and not enough on killing it live.
Well, this is it. I mean, we had an interview in Mentally Vexed, and they asked something about like, how do you stand out in London? Because obviously we've got such a big scene in hardcore. And I was like, at the end of the day, all the fucking t-shirts and all that shit means nothing if you don't have good songs and can't play live.
Exactly right. And you know what?
The core of it is
engage with your crowd, with your audience. You've got to try and engage with them. You know, that's another thing. You can be really good as well, but you can be too good. Here's where I contradict myself. You know, we always said when we played with bands and they're technically fucking brilliant,
Yeah.
Like I'm talking about, you got three Stevie Vais playing bass and guitar, and there's geezers singing, and they're all like, "I want to see your hands," and the crowd are just like, "What the fuck is this shit?"
Yeah.
You know,
Because there's
it's
no.
too polished.
Yeah.
It's too good.
It's too much like I've just turned the CD on.
Yeah, and it's almost like you've taken every live band that was good over the years and used their techniques. You're not being you.
Yeah.
You're trying to be Iron Maiden in the fucking Verge. You know what I mean? It's just it doesn't work to a certain level. You know what I mean? It's like a balance between, for me, killing it live is killing it to your genre. Whatever if you're a death metal band, what does that death metal crowd want out of you? Fucking give it to them.
Yeah.
Your t-shirt's going to have the Twig logo on it. You know what I mean? The Twig fits in white paint. You're going to have all that down. Your Spotify, because you've done a photo down in Epping Forest with your face paint on and all that, you're going to get the likes. That's all going well. But when you come on stage singing about, having sex with virgin wolves, you've got to bring that how your crowd want it to be brought. And it's the same with hardcore. It's the same with punk rock. It's the same with rockabilly, psychobilly, oi, you name it.
Yeah.
They want to see what they like. And
And the thing is, for me with hardcore, like the key element is being true to yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like the key element of hardcore is always be yourself on stage. And this is what bugs me about so many young bands now, that they try to do the tough guy thing when the people in the band aren't tough guys.
Yeah.
And I'm just like I would have more respect for you if you sung about your life, as lame as your life might be in comparison to other people we know. I'd rather you sung about what you know in your actual life than making some shit up about being some fucking drug dealer on the streets or some shit like that, or seeing violence on the streets when you come from some clean little suburb that's never seen violence in its fucking 30-year existence.
People see through that in a second, and you're done for at that point. And I'd also say the same, you mentioned it being the tough guys, but I'd say the same about bands that come out, more on the punk rock side, really, but they come out and spout about politics. And you're thinking, you ain't got a fucking clue. You're just giving me politics so that you can sell records.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can see through that as well. I know you don't give a shit about politics. I've been at the bar with you. You know what I mean? So it goes both ways. But I watched that Notorious B.I.G. Documentary that's just come up on Netflix.
Oh yeah, I didn't watch that actually.
Yeah, it's really good actually. But Sean Puff Daddy, as the producer of his first album, said the songs were good, but it needed more. It needed more truth. This guy, Biggie, has got a lot to say. This is a real street kid that was dealing crack at the time, right? And he's got a lot more to say. His mum's got cancer and all this kind of stuff going on. He's like, one of the hardest jobs you've got as a producer is getting the artist to deliver from the heart, from deep down within the heart. Yeah. If you can get them to do that, that's your hit right there. Yeah. That's what people feel. That's what people want to hear. That's what people connect to, and people who have not lived that life are interested in it all of a sudden, which is the global hip hop community in a lot of the places. They listen to Biggie going, fuck, man, he's talking about selling crack. And then when they played the lyrics to one of the songs on there the first song he'd kind of opened up about, you read it and you think, fuck, man, it's really good lyrics. Like, you don't, I missed all that at the time. I was just into the music. I was into big beats and rap. That's what it was for me. But when I look at it back on that documentary, I think, he sung about some real deep shit. And that's the same for hardcore.
Yeah. I mean, when it comes to lyrics, I actually had I was watching, I think it was a YouTube thing or something, but it was to do with Kano. Kano was being interviewed.
Yeah.
And he was saying when he writes his lyrics out, he looks at them, and if a word appears too close to the same word again, he scraps the whole fucking thing and starts from scratch.
Wow.
And I was just like, it was like, even if in the song there's like a massive gap because of the music being played, if it looks too close on the page, then I'm not happy with it. And it stuck with me. And I was like, shit, that's right. Like, you don't want to be repeating the same word.
Yeah.
I mean, there are certain words like the, that, and obviously like sort of transition words you're going to have to use because it's the English language.
Yeah.
But like, you want to...
I suppose with rap, with grime, things have to rhyme, don't they? So if you're going to use a word to rhyme as part of your verse and then you're going to do it again, then that's just lazy. It's like there's a thesaurus out there. There's a lot more words you can pull out of the bag. But I mean, to scrap the whole song and rewrite it, that's brave. I mean, that's something that Pierre sent us a set of lyrics that were really good, and then he scrapped the whole thing because of a word. I'd be like, what the fuck you doing? We got time for this shit. Time's money, baby. Get them back.
Oh,
Undelete them.
I'm a nightmare for that. Though. I'm just like, oh right. I mean, the thing is, I don't share it with the band until I'm 100% that's what it's going to be.
Yeah,
But it is like
yeah.
I'll sit there and have it all written out, and I'm like, and I'll be fucking around with it for weeks on end sometimes, being like, I don't know if that does that line belong there, or
Yeah.
like if you've got like an eight lines to a verse, I might take the first four and the second four and then switch them back and forth, and
You can overthink it, can't you? I mean,
you
you've
get
got
yeah.
to. I think it gets to a point where you've got to live and die by it. You say, "Fuck it, that's the song, get it out."
Oh
You
yeah,
know what I mean?
absolutely.
I mean, that's the point we're at now with these three songs. We're just like, all right, we've toed and froed, and there's been a few WhatsApp messages. Oh, change this, change that. All right, that lyric works, but now the bit of music behind it don't really work. It's out of
Yeah,
all these sorts of conversations. Then in the end, you've got to get to a point where you say, that's the song.
yeah,
If we're happy with it, then it goes out. It's better to create and risk criticism than to criticize having never created anything.
yeah. And the thing is, like, you can't try to second guess what the audience is going to like anyway.
Yeah,
You can
exactly.
you can put your music out and be like, they're either going to like this or they're not.
Well, yeah, and especially for us. I mean, it's hard. It's hard for us, and I feel the same with Madball. People that have been around a long time, you're just going to put the same shit out all the time, and that's
Yeah,
hard. But the thing is, you're under pressure of it because you don't want to put the same shit out all the time. You've got to, mature. You've got to grow and evolve and all that stuff. But you're also scared of stepping too much outside of hardcore because then it's not hardcore anymore. And then, you're like, well, we've got to keep it hardcore because we're a hardcore band. That's what we
yeah,
do. But you don't want to say, you want to add little flavors and bits and pieces. And, I saw Madball done it on their last album, and you're trying to do bits and pieces, but keep within that hardcore thing. Because if you just put out the same shit, that just becomes generic. It's boring. And people
yeah.
were saying, just play Time Won't Heal This again.
I
And
mean, Promises Comfort Falls is probably your most out there album, I think, where it's got the most differences and most odd bits and pieces that you don't really hear in other Knuckledust stuff.
yeah, that's our least favorite album, to be honest with you. That one, yeah, I can't stand it. I can't even listen to that album, to be honest. I just don't like it. It's it was written under a lot of pressure. It was all last minute hashed together. You
Right,
know,
yeah.
some of the songs are good. Some of the music's really good. It could have been better songs. I think a lot of it you got words over music that don't make a very good song. And I just thought that it got rushed a bit. I argue this all the time with the boys. Some of them say, "No, it's good, man. We did what we could," but it could have been better. And that's why I said I would never work like that again. I would never have nothing written or nothing going for us, and then a deadline to have it done by,
Right,
because you
yeah.
end up with something like that you're not really happy with. And on the same way, Knuckledust have to have some sort of deadline, and we never get nothing done. You know
Right,
what I
yeah.
mean? There has to be I have to book a studio and have a bit of pressure and be able to say, guys, it's in 4 months, don't you? It's in a month. It's next week, don't you? Right, boom, let's get the songs written now. That's the only way we get things done under pressure. And
So
yeah.
you're essentially the guy that organises the band.
For getting the shit done, I'm the closer of it all. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Waymer will write the music. Waymer gets all the music written. He'll write the lyrics. But if I don't chip in, normally verbally when we're out on the road or something, say, God, we've got to have these fucking songs done by this date. I'm not putting it back no more.
Yeah.
And we'll have that argument. It puts everyone under a bit of pressure because, like I say, that is the only way it'll get done. If I said, guys, write some new songs, I'd wait 10 years. I would honestly. I'd wait 10 years. They'd be like, yeah, next week. It took Waymo all the time from, Songs of Sacrifice to get these 5 songs, which was last year or something. So, it was like, I'm booking a studio. We're going in on this day.
Yeah.
Now, we would never have been ready. We were supposed to record, I think, December. We would never have been ready, man. The coronavirus got it cancelled. We actually moved it to February, and then we moved it again to April. So
Yeah.
we're ready in April, but we would never have been ready in December.
And are the songs like you rehearse the songs to the point where you're happy you can just get in the studio and bang them out?
Musically, they've never been sung yet, but we've got a couple of rehearsals before the studio. But we'll be ready. We'll be all right. It'll be ready.
Because it's one of the things.
Everyone's been.
One of the things Adam's really drilling into us, because when we go to do this split, we're actually going to a proper studio for the first time. Adam's recorded all of our stuff so far.
Yeah.
He's like, we're going to write it and we'll have a demo of it ready to go. so that the producer can hear it and know what the songs are basically going to be like. We'll have it fully written and as recorded as it would be by us, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Then send that to the producer, and he went, but we're going to drill that in studios for a good couple of months before we go up.
Yeah.
To record it.
Yeah,
He
it's
went, because
important. I think the way things are at the moment is you can't get together. You can only be responsible for your job.
yeah,
Make sure you know your shit of what you're doing on that record. So, because I couldn't rehearse, I bought a second-hand, electric kit
yeah,
from Facebook Marketplace. Some geezer was selling it around here for 150 quid or something. So I just bought that, and I'm going to use that until up to the studio and then sell it again. I can't keep it in the house because there's no room, and the missus is going crazy. I keep hanging towels on the internet.
I
So
thought
that's
she was
going to be
learning on
gone.
it.
It's in the kitchen, in the way of everything. But I just needed to practice my shit. I need to go in the studio and know what I'm doing. I know the drum beats of these songs. I can say that, And we can change and we can tweak and we can say, I'll speed it up, slow it down. That's just studio shit. That's going to happen. But if you go in not knowing what you're playing, then you're a dickhead. You know what I mean? That's as simple as that. You haven't done your homework. And in Knuckledust, we bollock each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't want to get the bollock in. I don't want to go in there and go, you do your homework. And,
yeah.
Anyone makes a mistake live, they get a bollocking, mate. You get after the show, you get told you was fucking shit tonight. Don't do that again tomorrow. No one's scared in our band to let the other one know. And that builds a bit of pressure to make sure you do your job.
Yeah.
All you got to
do. I mean, we've never been that, and we wasn't that improving either. I think the only time I saw it kick off was between Adam and Mark once. Yeah. And I thought Adam we played in the Kingston Pill. No, not the Pill. The little fucking bar venue thing that's down there where Turnstile played. We played down there. And Mark has a habit of retuning guitars between every song just to tune it back up so it's tight. And Adam was saying, look, we'll all go out of tune together, so we'll be in tune all the way through with each other.
Yeah.
So just leave it. And he kept tuning up and kept tuning up, and Adam just fucking blew his top with him at the end of the set. And I was like, fuck that, I'm getting well out of the way of that. And me and Louis went out in the building.
We was the same with Waymo because he does the same thing. But we was like, look, we got to come on stage, do an intro, and then play 3 songs off the bat without saying a word, without speaking. Just come on and just bang 3 songs out, and then stop, tune, breather, drink, little speech, and then do another 3 without speaking. I want to do 6 songs with 1 break in the middle, and that's just a bit more impact, I suppose. But our band always has a fucking technical problem every time. I don't know why. There's always something. A jack lead will break or something will happen. We're just cursed with it. Whenever we've done a big show, a big festival, every single big festival we've ever played, something technically has gone wrong in the early part of the set.
Yeah.
Come on first song and Wayne will break a string. Come on first song, Nicky breaks a string. You come on, the PA dies out for some reason, cuts out. There's always something. We've never done a bigger festival and had what we can come off stage and say that was a really good set, perfect. We've always come off unhappy. Every single one.
But if it's a technical issue, there's not something you can do much about. It just happens. Like, you've not done anything wrong.
No, but what it does with us, when there's a technical issue, it sort of throws off your mojo. You know what I mean? It just, you're out of the zone all of a sudden. You're looking at equipment and thinking about it. You're not thinking, fucking slay the crowd. You know what I mean? You're thinking, oh no, my bass pedal's a bit wobbly. Or, oh no, his guitar string's broken. And then you've got to wait 10 minutes for the geezer to put a new string on and tune it. And in that time, Pierre's talking to the crowd and he's going, how are you all doing? You having a good time? I'm thinking, we've fucking blown it. For me, that point is blown. The
energy's just dropped.
Everything's gone missing. It's out the window. I open up a tin of lager and I go and have a drink with the people standing beside the drum kit. Nick's there, talking to the people behind, and we're waiting for the string. Yeah, you getting on with that string? Oh, just tuning it 1 second, and you know what I mean? It's like, fucking hell, we've blown it.
But what's funny is and you realise, I realise this, being in the crowd as well, the crowd itself doesn't actually care. They're just like, yeah, whatever, we'll get back on with it as soon as it starts. The crowd don't mind. They don't really give a shit because it's a hardcore crowd.
No, but I think it's us. We take it personally because we just get so fired up for gigs. You know what I mean? Every gig we're fired up to do it and deliver it. And when you're sort of in that juggernaut and you start it up and you're driving down a fast lane, all of a sudden you're in a traffic jam. You sort of lose all that adrenaline. It's sort of brains out of you, and then it takes you 3 or 4 songs to get it going again. And it's like,
I mean, for me, like, I treat shows as like a competition. Like, I'm
yeah,
very competitive, so I'm like, at the end of this show, the band they're going to be talking about is us.
yeah,
And I
yeah.
don't give a
Good.
fuck who's on behind me, who's on above us on the bill. Like, I don't give a fuck if it's like you guys, if it's Madball. I don't give a shit. The band you talk about when you leave this venue is us. And so,
Yeah.
like, I mean, that's why I've had like heart attacks coming off a fucking stage.
Well, I'm going to build a red and a blue corner at the 100 Club, and you can be in the fucking blue corner. I'll be in the red corner, and we'll come out. We'll have it. But no,
No,
I think that's a good way to look at it, really. I mean, I've never really looked at it like that. I'm more like, I just want to do the very best that I know we can. And listen, I've been capable of fucking that up. You know what I mean?
yeah,
I get the bollocking. I get Waymer at the end of the show saying, you're fucking rubbish. You know what I mean? And I've had Baxter going, yeah, you didn't really cover yourself in glory tonight, mate. I'll speak to you later. And you think, oh, I fucked it up. You know what I mean?
yeah.
But then they've had it. We've all had it. All 4 of us individually have given each other a bit of shit. And
To be fair, you've been a band for 25 years.
yeah,
At some
exactly. Well, to
point,
be honest,
all
when we started in the earlier days, it was just everything was a party.
yeah,
It was the bands, it was us, it was Nine Bar, it was all the bands, Freebase, whoever it was. We was all just drinking, partying, they're smoking, whatever, and the crowd was as well, or it seemed like it. And just everybody, it was just a punk rock party, man. It was every gig was just like a house party.
yeah,
But it weren't until you realise that actually people have paid money to come and see your band. How would I like it if I paid to see a band and they was all shit-faced on stage and playing the songs wrong?
yeah,
You know what I mean? At some point, you have to take it seriously. And, you know, you're forced to level up when you, I suppose, when you go on the bigger tours. When we go on the big tours, the first big tour we did was in the UK of Agnostic Front, and we're still in sort of house party mode. Now, I'm in that bubble. We're all in that bubble, and we presume everybody else is the same. But actually, what you see is these bands are very fucking professional.
yeah,
You know what I mean? These bands have got their sound going right. They've got the right, and you know, you see people that you think like Agnostic Front back then, Vinny Stigma and Roger, you think this was just a party band. Well, we're going to have fun, and actually, they're asleep most of the day. They come out at night and they fucking slay.
yeah,
And we're like, oh, this is how it works. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And then you meet the Euro bands, Born from Pain. I remember, you know, Rob in the early days, we'd come off stage, and back then, all of our mates would say, oh, that was brilliant, man. You killed it. And it was like, oh, thanks, mate. Yeah, cheers. All great. Great to have that sort of feedback off your mates. And then Rob was like, what the fuck was that? You lot sucked, man. You sounded like shit. It was all over the place. I'm like, what? What's he fucking talking about?
yeah,
He's like, he goes, hey, Wavy, your guitar sounds like a fucking lawnmower. What the fuck is that shit? And he just laid into it, man. And I was like, what? And Ian Glasper said the same one day. He was like, yeah, it was pretty good. You know, a bit ropey here and there. And he's like, you're taking a piss, mate. Fucking liberty. What are you on about? And then you realise, actually, you watch back some of them old videos, and it was an absolute crock of shit, all hashed together. You know, some of the sound stuff we had, you know, it was toy guitars, wasn't it? And toy amps and stuff we was playing back then. We didn't have no money. So it's just whatever you could get your hands on.
yeah,
And yeah, so you level up because of what's around you. You see bands who go out and kill it, sound good, play well. They got the shit going down with the merchandise again. I think, yeah, I want to be a bit more like that.
yeah.
You know,
And I think, I mean, one thing I've learned, especially with like watching American bands and how they behave backstage,
yeah,
because for them it is kind of a job. This is their income. So
yeah,
it's very professional. The idea of that whole sort of party mentality that happens if they've got a day off.
Yeah, but I mean, in the same way as well, like you say, that's their income. This is their full-time job. So this is them going into the office from 9 to 5, except they're going on a bus from 9 to 5 and then the office is at night time. So I get that. But for me, or for us, actually, we don't like touring that way, really, because it's fucking boring. Like, I don't mind it sometimes, but I like to pick the bands to tour with that are fun, that are kind of like us. I mean, you know, for us, it's our holiday from work.
Yeah,
we get 20 days or 25 days, whatever it is. So if I'm going to have a week off to go on tour, I want to have a fucking laugh. This is my holiday as well. You know, this isn't my job, my career. And we've been doing it all our lives, but this is, you know, we're a UK hardcore band, so we get the best of what we can out of it, which for the most part is going around the world and having fun with our mates. You're never going to be fucking Slipknot, you know what I mean? It's never going to get to a level like that. I accepted that years ago, you know. So the American bands, they can take all the money. I get it. They've got to feed their kids. This is all they know. So go for it. I'll support them all day long. We do that.
Yeah.
But the one clause is we want to have a good week, a good laugh.
Yeah.
Have fun and be with a band who I get on with. I don't want to spend a week on tour fighting because some band's arrogant rock stars or something like that. I'm not even sure. I'll turn that call down. You know what I mean? we done one once, and I was just like, never again. I'm never going to do that. I don't care how big the band is. If we get off of the show and it's like, right, you can't come down this corridor because so and so is getting changed at this time, I'm like, fuck it. I don't want to be on that tour.
Yeah.
I honestly don't. I'm not going to do that tour.
I mean,
so, the best tours for us was with Backfire, and we have a laugh with No Turning Back and bands like that.
Yeah.
That's what I want to do.
We did the Weekender with 9 Bar, Proven, and
Yeah.
that was fucking hilarious.
You used to spend the whole weekend laughing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You spend a laugh. It's going to be great.
It was us, 9 Bar, and we took Sidito and Poppy with us.
Yeah.
And it was just like, I mean, you can imagine what it was like with them two to start with.
Yeah, yeah. And that's still the way I want to do it to this day.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would do it with those people tomorrow, no problem. As a 9 Bar, I've never toured, and it's something we should look to do one day, I think. We've never done it.
No, it's strange because obviously you two are the origins of the LBU.
Yeah, it'd be good to do a package tour with us and a couple of northern bands and do a UK package tour of some sort. But it's easier said than done. But especially now there's no venues.
Yeah.
But it's something I'd like to do. I'd look into doing definitely.
I mean, something that you could do with 9 Bar probably quite easily would be like Europe, do a little week over in Europe because you guys can draw a crowd in Europe quite easily.
Yeah, they can as well.
9 Bar are a known entity. It wouldn't be difficult for you to get shows booked over there where you guys headlined 9 Bar with your main support.
Yeah.
What's
this space? Who knows? Yeah.
I mean, obviously, it's all dependent on how easy it is to go and play Europe going forward.
I was going to say, if I get over there with us and 9 Bar as part of a talk, slip in a couple of comedy gigs, you know what I mean? Double bubble.
Will the Germans understand your humour?
Probably not. We'll leave it, I think. Yeah. I don't know what I'd do to them, but yeah, but I just hope really everything stems on this 100 Club gig for us at the moment. So I just hope that happens. It's nice seeing all this 25-year-old stuff that's been popping up recently online. There's been loads of photos popping up on Instagram and on Facebook and that 90s hardcore and a lot of good memories. But, I always think memories are there to be created. We're not a band really that looks back on the past that much. It's only happening now because of the 25 years, I think.
Yeah.
And lots of people are asking us about it. And there's a lot of people that don't know much about it. The younger people are showing an interest in it. And that's all great. I'll talk about it, but it's not better than it was today. There's parts of it that were, parts of it that are not. And there's parts of today that are much better than what were better back then.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's very easy for us old bastards to sit back and go, well, music was better in my day.
Yeah.
And, I am one of the people that sits there and goes, look, I love 90s hardcore.
Yeah. Oh, me too. Yeah.
That for me is definitely my period. But that's not to say there's not bands that have come out in the last 5 years or so that I haven't liked.
No, exactly. And that's why you've got it's down to the bands these days to separate themselves from the others. And for me, the way you do that is to fucking kill it live. That's for me, that's the thing that makes you stand out. So many bands I've watched that I've never really heard of and said, I'm going to check them out. I listened to them before the show, and that was all right. It was all right. Recording's not great. I watch them, and then I'm like, this is the fucking band, man. I love it. And then next thing you're listening to them, and it sounds different when you listen to the recording because you've seen them live.
Yeah.
You know what that song part looks and feels like now, rather than just sounds like. You know what I mean?
This is it. It's like, as well, when you think about like heavy music as a whole, it hasn't been around that long.
No, exactly.
But it's been around long enough now that most things have been done. Like you're not going to create anything massively new that's never been heard before.
And that's part of the problem, if I'm honest. There's so many influences to draw from now that a lot of the bands use them all.
Yeah.
And it just sounds like a mismatch of everything that's been made before and has come together on a recording that's no different from the other bands of that era, of this era. There's a lot of bands that do sound different, by the way. I'm not judging the whole thing, but if you're influenced by loads of stuff and you're going to sound the same as everybody else. But I think what hardcore, not just hardcore, I'd say music in general in the UK, probably worldwide, but it's crying out for a new moment, a new scene, give it a new name, like grime did.
Yeah.
It needs a new thing. If I was a young kid, fucking whatever, 16, 17 today, and into hardcore, forming a band, I'd say we're not a hardcore band. And I'd give it a new name, a new moment, and I'd pay respect to the hardcore scene. But start a new genre, because I think live music hasn't had a new genre since what? Since indie, possibly is the last one I can remember. I mean, there's lots of electronic musics and hip hop, grime, and
Yeah.
dubstep, and blah blah blah, all this stuff that have come out. But anyone with a guitar, what's the last time we heard of a new, Britpop? Maybe, I don't know, man. What was the
Britpop.
last?
I mean, I suppose the emo rise in the 2000s.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
even that
That
was
was.
born off of like emo started in the 80s. It's
I was
just
going
that
to
it
say,
got
yeah, that's
big.
not a new thing. It was a new form of it, a new mutation of what was emo, Texas is the Razor sort of stuff
Yeah.
back then. And this one had black fingernails and long fringes.
Yeah.
You know what
It
I
was
mean?
pop music with goth makeup on.
And was they happy to be called that? It got labelled that. But
Yeah.
did these guys come out and say, yeah, we're part of the new emo thing? You know, the grime kids are saying, we're grime. This is
Yeah.
our shit. We called it that, and we're proud to be that. But I don't think them emo bands probably thought, they should have given themselves a new name and a new moment.
Yeah.
It should have been known for something, called something. And that's what we need, I think. That's what this scene is crying out for today, for a young band to come along, mix it up a bit of whatever they want to do. Put hip-hop in there, put punk in there, metal, but
Yeah.
call it something else. Don't say we're a hardcore band. I mean, and I love hardcore, so I'm not putting that down. And off the back of hardcore, you'll get your gigs and you'll get your CD out and Ruction and all that sort of good stuff.
Yeah.
But it needs a new moment, I think. It
It's
needs
like,
something exciting that's different.
Gino asked a question the other day to me. He was like, like how do we reach younger people? And I was thinking about this, and I was like, think about it.
Don't fucking Google that. You know what I mean, mate? You'll be on a charge. You need to chill out.
I was like, when you think about it, when Knuckledust and you lot came up in sort of 96, 97, you essentially started your own thing.
Yeah.
And you paid sort of tribute and homage to the previous sort of punk and hardcore stuff that existed in the 80s, but you weren't booking them bands. You weren't bringing them bands along with you as much.
No, I mean, we did book them, some of them. Madball, Sub-Zero, bands like that, we put the shows on. But, I think for us, it was more about trying to create an excitement.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go out on a show and say, we're hardcore, the new thing, and we're fucking, this is our shit, because it's not. It's America's shit. Yeah. It came off the back of British oi and punk, the attitude of hardcore came off the back of British oi and punk. They'll admit that, And we came because we was just into American hardcore.
Yeah.
But we was doing our British version of it, singing in trying desperately hard not to sing in American
accents.
Words and phrases and that. We want to do it in a London way so that it can be our scene and we can call it our thing. And I think, how do you connect to younger people? I think you answer that by putting yourself in the shoes of younger you. What did you want? Because it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Nothing changes now. Okay, the way you can reach them is via technology. But you don't connect to them via technology. You connect to them, by, I'm going to go back to it again, by killing it live. If a young kid turns up, right, and sees a crazy fucking band on stage doing a crazy show and everyone's going nuts, they're into that band at that point.
Yeah.
They're going to say, this is fucking great. Because young people are looking for energy and excitement and to get out of the norm, which might be school, or it might be a really shit apprenticeship or something like that. You go to a show and this place is crazy. And some old dude who's been doing it for years comes up and says, what's your name, man? And you made friends with this guy already. And the next thing, I like that guy. I'm going to come. There's a flyer for the next show. Yeah, I want some more of that in my life.
Yeah.
That's how you do it. You connect at the shows. And that's why we've always, I've never, seen the whole thing as a competition because I'm not going to win anything.
Yeah.
There's no prize at the end of it. So, I've always said if any young band wants to know anything that we've ever done, and you say, how did you do that? I'll tell you exactly. I'll give you the guy's number. I'll give you exactly all the information you need. You want to talk about Waymer's guitar sound, he'll tell you exactly every bit of kit he's got in his setup.
Yeah.
Drums, whatever it is, anything to do with a band, management, any of that. I'll talk to you about it.
That was always your ethic though, like from day one. Like the reason that it all like London hardcore grew up around you guys is because you actively went and helped the newer bands that were forming around. Like you helped 50 Caliber, you helped Nine Bar, you helped these bands sort of get their shows and get themselves sorted out.
And I'm still there. We're still there doing it. I mean, I can't do much more. You know what I mean? There's not much more we can offer, other than just playing music. But it's all about, happy if a younger band comes along and then they blow up. That's
Yeah.
great, because also it's great for them, and I'm happy to see that go on. Years ago I'd be going, "Look at sellouts," what are they doing? But now, well, not now, I'd say for about the last 15, 20 years, I'm like, no, if these bands go all the way and make it, it's good for us, because it keeps us current, because they're talking
Yeah.
about us. These young fucking trendy kids who are in big magazines and do bigger things, they're talking about us as an influence. So that's good for us as well. It comes back. You know what I mean? It's karma or whatever. But, I just think, I'd never look at it as I'm not going to share, because there were bands like that when we were coming through. Like, we'd say, "Oh, how did you get on so and so festival? How did you do that?" "Don't you worry, man. You keep putting on the work and you'll get that." Where I'd have said, "Well, ring this geezer.
Yeah.
There's a start. There's his number." I mean, now we got the internet. I'd say there's his email, there's his thing, whatever. But back then, I was like, "Call that guy, tell him I'll give him your number, and you're looking to get on." He might tell you to fuck off, but I can't. I can't do nothing up to that point. There's his number. Now, loads of people I'd done that before didn't ring the people. I'd say, "Oh, did so and so ring you?" "No, I ain't heard nothing from them." And the next thing you read about them complaining they're not getting any gigs or festivals and that. And I'm like, "Well, you ain't hustling, mate.
Yeah.
You ain't doing it." Nobody picks up the phone to anybody and says, "There you go. There's Donington. Play that."
Yeah.
Nobody's done that. It doesn't happen. Forget about it. What you've got to do is put your own shows on, get your people to those shows. Then people will start putting you on. And that's part of why I wanted Stonehand to play our show. Because now I live down here in Brighton where they are. And I went to a show. I saw Connor in a bar and I was talking to him. But then I went to a show in Brighton that Louis come down for. And we both watched them. And they booked the show. They put it on themselves. They're playing it. And they're good.
Yeah.
I was like, "We need to play more shows." And then it was at the time I was thinking about doing the 100 Club. And I thought, if I do the 100 Club, I'm going to put them on it.
Yeah.
Because,
they're a good band.
Yeah, they're a good band. They're nice guys. So, yeah, they deserve a decent gig like that.
And that's it. 'Cause, I mean, there was a period in time when I would hear, like, don't go begging for shows. People would say, "Oh, if you're asking promoters for shows, it looks like you're begging this, that, and the other." I don't give a fuck. If there's a promoter that's got a show that's looks like it's still looking for like support acts or whatever, I'll message them. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Like that's how I got Infraction booked for like 3 or 4 shows that end up not happening. Like the reason we got on a Jesus Piece show was because I literally reached out to Eddie and was like, "Could we play that?"
Yeah.
And he was like, "Yeah, of course you can."
And that's how you do it. And all this don't beg for shows. I mean, beg for shows. I don't think I'd ever do that. But I would certainly, if there was a show I wanted to do or a festival I wanted to do or a tour I wanted to. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm still pick up the phone type guy. I'd rather phone people.
Yeah.
A lot of what was done for us over the last 15 years was Theo at GSR doing it, to be honest.
Yeah.
And Theo's a pick up the phone type guy. And he says, "Look, guys, I want to try and get you on so-and-so tour, this show. Are you able to do it?" And a lot of the time we said, "No, we can't do it for whatever reason, and so he wouldn't hustle to do it. But if there's things we wanted to do, then we would say, "All right, look, let's book this time off work. And when we know that tour is going on, and we'll try our hardest to get on it."
Yeah.
And then we'd say to Theo, "Yeah, go for it." And then I'd say to Pierre, so-and-so in the band, speak to them and see if they can speak to him. And we'd go all routes to try and get to the person who we need to get that show. And then that's how we got a lot of those bigger tours or stuff like that, And then some shows have come off of bands we've helped out that have ended up returning us a favour and saying, "Do you want to play this with us? Or I'll give you the number of this guy and get you on a festival." So I'm like, "Oh, cool, thanks, man." So, yeah.
I mean, I'm definitely going to leverage the Radio Eye thing. We do Radio Eye. It's like we put on loads of bands. So, like, okay, well, a couple of us are in bands. We've put you guys on. Can you help us out with a show here, there, and everywhere, sort of thing?
That's exactly what we did when we started it. We wanted to play out of London. So we just reached out, me and Pierre. It was always me and Pierre. We'd get on the bus or coach to Sheffield or Liverpool or Manchester or Scotland. We was in Belgium a lot. If Stamford Ground were playing, we'd jump in with them, or we just go over there. Me and Pierre would just hang out at shows in Belgium, and I'd just say, things like EPA and stuff like that. I got to know a lot of them guys, Bruno and Gannett Records and all those people, and just hang out with them at their distro and talk to them and say, "Look, I've got a band called Knuckledust. Can we come and play?" So send me some shit, man. I'll see what I can do. And I just wouldn't leave them alone.
Yeah.
I'll just say, you said you might better give us a chance. All right, look, I swear they just say you can open up just to fuck me off out of it. You know what I mean? You can open up, you're on at 12 o'clock in the afternoon, you ain't getting paid a penny. And that's the deal. But I just looked at it and just thought, well, we're playing with Liar or we're playing with All Out War or, Congress or someone like that who's killing it. then, and we were just happy to be part of that.
Yeah. I mean, that Hate Thousands fucking scene back then, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Fucking Liar, Congress, Sector, all that lot is just like...
Mate, those shows were nuts. There was whole rooms of circle pits and stuff like that. They were good shows.
Oh, is that
It
where
was
Wayman's
exciting.
obsession with the circle pit comes from?
Sorry?
Is that where
Yeah,
Wayman's
probably
obsession with
was.
circle pit comes from?
Probably was, yeah. They'd be playing like Slayer type metal riffs to circle pits. It was crazy, man. Like, I mean, it's quite common now because you've got Municipal Waste and there's all these thrash bands that are doing it, so it's fairly common. But back then it was weird because circle pits was punk rock. It was like, let me see the circle pit. But then these lot are going, I want to see the circle pit. And there's like fresh metal. I was running around the hall. I don't really like this music, but that was the fucking time of my life, man. I was like, oh, this is great. So yeah, yeah, they were good times. But that is where we did it. I mean, it was all about for me talking to people first and foremost, meet people. That's what it's all about. And it still is, you know, I'm still looking to most of what we've done and shows we've been offered and things we've got on and that has been done at the bar after the show.
Yeah.
Seriously, we got on Radio 1. We did that Radio 1 session because we played it. We played with Indecision. Most Precious Blood, sorry, they were at the time.
Mm.
And we come off and I was at the bar and Mike, who was the DJ on the show, was like, "How you doing, man? I'd like you to come and do..." We was talking about other things. I was just chatting to him, having a couple of drinks. He's like, "Why don't you come on the show and do it?" And I was like, "Yeah, all right. What's your show?" He's like, "It's the Radio 1 metal show." I was like, "What? Yeah, man. When do you want? I'll be there in the morning. When do you need me there? I don't care. Like you, set the boys.
Yeah.
Whatever this fucking date this geezer comes up with, we're available. All right, we're there. We're there. You go sick. You do whatever you want." And then we recorded at Maida Vale and done the show. And yeah, that was literally just through hanging out with people at the bar. I got introduced to him by a friend of a friend.
Yeah.
Started chatting, and I was you know, he's talking about Maida Vale, and I was like, "Oh, I'd love to do that, man. Love to."
And that's it. I one thing for younger bands to listen to is like, you know, talk to your friends.
Yeah.
Because someone you know knows someone else who knows someone else who knows someone else.
Yeah, I mean, there seems to be more. I might be getting this wrong, by the way, because I'm a little bit out of the loop. Now I'm down here in Brighton. I don't go to shows in London that often, but there seems to be a bit of competition between promoters and between bands and between, you know, photographers and all the stuff that used to make up the scene. Is now like they want to be their version of the best and their version of this and their version. And so we all get nowhere together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whereas if you pick this person's brain and tells you what they know and they tell you what they know, you go, "Thanks, mate." And then you grow together. Everybody grows together. At the end of the day, we're only UK hardcore. It's never going to blow up the world unless you step out of it and become metal, or you could become something else and drop the hardcore tag, because you're always going to be, we're just a bunch of fans of the American version of the music that came before us, or the European version of that music. So the only way UK hardcore can flourish is to help each other out. As corny as that sounds, that is the only way we can do anything, to be friends with the guys in the north and, you know, whatever, you know, we need to do. If you've got a photographer, then the photographer says, "You know, look, I'll help you out. I'll give you some promo shots for your first album."
Yeah.
But remember me, when you're doing fucking Download Festival, I'm your official photographer at the side of stage. Remember that. Fine, that's a deal. Let's do it. I'll shake your hand on that one.
Yeah, exactly. You know? It's like, I mean, we've got a really good thing going with the artist, MJ Hibbling.
Right.
Who has nothing to do with hardcore, metal, anything. He's just an artist that I knew from Facebook. But I've always said, look, if a band wants the artwork, hit me up and I will put you in contact with the guy.
Yeah.
You know, he does it commission work, you know what I mean? He's getting paid for it. He's not gonna be like, "Oh no, I don't want to do that," you know?
Yeah.
If you've got if you like that art style and you want to do it, it's not like it's an exclusive infraction thing where we want our band to look that specific way and no one else can have that art style.
Yeah.
If you like the guy's shit, then be like, "Yo, like, could you hook me up with that guy?" Of course I can.
I'm happy with that. Yeah. And look, we pay people all the time to do stuff for us because we're not capable of doing it ourselves, and that's fine. No, I don't mind even off the back of Knuckledust. I don't mind people. I used to hate it when people were talking about making money in hardcore. I used to be really anti, you know, but I got to the point where I think, well, everyone's fucking making money in hardcore. You know, everyone will tell you they're broke and there's no money, but there is. Everybody's making money. And the bigger bands are paying their families for it. And so I thought, all right, fair enough. That's fine. That's what they do for a living. I'm quite happy. I've resigned myself to the fact that, all right, people are going to make money. But if it's off the back of Knuckledust, then I say, all right, look, if you're making money, we're making money. Everybody makes money. You know, everybody gets a bit of money from the show if that's how it's going to be. because we get offered shows. It's like, oh, will you come and play, fucking shithead festival in a village in fucking Germany somewhere. And it's like, last year we had 500 people sold out. Will you come and play? So I said, yeah, we're interested in playing, man. And what's the deal? And like, well, this year, if you guys play, it will definitely sell out. So we want to offer you €300 to come over and we'll pay for your ferry. And you're like, so you're going to have 500 people there. I've just seen on your website, it's €20 a ticket.
Yeah.
Right. So you've got 10 grand. Right. Yeah. And you're going to offer me €300. All right. What's happening with the other €9,700 just out of interest? Oh no, it might not sell out. It might. I don't know if it will sell out. Hold on a minute. Whoa, hold on. You just told me definitely 100% if we play, it's going to sell out. So I was like, look, mate, we'll play it, and I want to come there. And if you think my band can sell it out, that's great. But don't take the piss.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Let's. If you're going to make some money, I don't mind. I'm happy with that. But I am as well. We all do it together.
Yeah.
But that's not my driver. It's never been the driver for the band. I just got sick of people taking the piss. That's all it became, really.
I mean, will you go back to the days of fucking people saying pay to play?
Well, I think we've still to this day spent a lot more doing this than we've taken from it.
Yeah.
I mean, if you put together all the things you fork out for to do with, if you just add up every rehearsal we've done.
Yeah.
Right, rehearsing for a live show or rehearsing for a tour or, in the next couple of weeks, I'm doing 3 rehearsals just to get these songs together to go and record 5 songs in the studio for 50 quid. And I'm not complaining because every band does the same. So I accept it. I accept that. But over 25 years, you're like, there's other things as well. There's the van that blew up and there's all sorts of things I could go back. And I'm sure if I added up every penny, I'd probably fucking cry about it.
Could have been a millionaire.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. But no, it's at the point, you at our age, I don't want to say to my missus or the other guys' families that got kids and stuff, I don't want to say, listen, we're going away for the weekend. Can you lend me 200 quid out of the family funds because I'm going to come back broke as fuck? That ain't going to happen. I just won't be doing the band in that case, so there has to be some form of payment now. And
I've always said, like, with any band I've played, as long as I can, at the initial level, when you first start off, like when Proven first started off and now with Infraction, I've said, look, I don't even expect to get paid for most shows at the moment because no one knows who the fuck we are. We've got to build a bit of a name for it. But at a certain point, you've got to be like, I just want my travel. If you can cover my costs to get to and from the venue, that I'm happy because then I'm not spending any money. I'm not losing money.
Yeah. Yeah.
I get, and like you say, I get that the promoter up there or whatever is going to make money. That's the whole fucking point of them putting the show on. I
think you gauge it. You gauge it as well. I mean, if we got offered something like a Hellfest or something, then you've got to look at it like, all right, look, I'm not going to get paid a lot for a Hellfest because there's huge millions of pounds being spent on those things these days, and so you have to appreciate the fact that you're promoting your band to thousands of people sometimes and say, all right, look, I can take a hit on that, but I'll have to book a couple of smaller shows on the way home or something like that to help cover the travel costs and work it around. So yeah, I just think I'm talking more from a headline point of view. People want us to come and play the show and be the headline band of the show, and they think they're going to sell that venue out comfortably.
Yeah.
And I say, oh, cool, that's cool, but you split it. But if you want me to support on a bigger festival or, go on tour with a band and we're second or third on, something like that, as part of a package tour. I mean, the last package tour we didn't get paid, but the deal was you get to sleep on the bus, which somebody else is paying for. One of the bigger bands are paying. So they're paying for my hotel every night, effectively, for food and for my drink and all that. And, any money we're going to take on is going to be from merchandise sales. So we said, we'll take that deal just to get on the road and be with our friends, which, was a good tour. We had a good laugh. So, and
also it's bigger venues than you might possibly have played as a headline act.
Yeah, and we are fans of it. The bands that are playing on these tours do make a difference to us.
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck, I want to go on tour. I want to go on tour with Madball. I want to go on tour with Crown of Thorns, with, No Turning Back, Wisdom in Chains. These are the bands I want to go on because I want to go to a Wisdom in Chains show every night.
Yeah.
That's a great week out for me. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There ain't a holiday in the world to go and see Wisdom in Chains every night, and Madball, bands like that, and No Turning Back, and then afterwards hang out with my mates. And so, I take all of that. Our band takes all of that, and probably naively, we probably get used for that reason that certain people probably know that, Knuckledust will do it cheap because they love playing with Madball or they love playing with, but there's probably a bit of that goes on. But, I just, It's never been money's never been a priority for Knuckledust. But
I don't think it can be if you're UK hardcore. Like you said earlier, there's in UK hardcore within the scene itself, there's not much money to be made.
no, there isn't. No,
Like, there's money there, but there is not an awful lot of money. Like, you're never going to make this into a living, like you said. It'd be a bolt of lightning out of nowhere if this became like Seattle did in the 90s.
it's just not going to. And that's why it could happen if the bands called themselves something new that was a version of UK hardcore that had a new name.
Yeah.
And then I think something like that could happen. But if you coming out calling yourself a hardcore band, you'll have a great time. You'll probably tour the world, and you'll have people all around the world you can call your friend, your brother, sister, all that sort of stuff. But you ain't going to blow up beyond a certain level. No. You're just going to be a UK hardcore band. Get back in your fucking lane. You know, that's how it's going to be.
I mean, it's always felt like, we're the little brother of the other scene sort of thing, because we're a tiny little island. Our entire country fits into most states quite easily. And like you think about American hardcore and the US scene, like their states will have hundreds of bands, of which 3 or 4 you would have heard about internationally.
Yeah.
You take like Pennsylvania, how many bands from them like are internationally really well known?
I mean, we've played over there a couple of times, and I would say that the bands that we've made friends with over there will come to the shows, and we're friends with those kind of people. But generally, the overall bigger picture of US hardcore, they don't even recognise a UK hardcore's existence.
No.
You know what I mean? And why would they? If you've got the best bands in the world on your doorstep that are regularly playing and touring and stuff, the bands love playing in Europe because the crowds are bigger. It's all professionally done. It's a lot bigger for them. It's proper organisation, stuff like that. But generally, shows in the US are very similar to shows in the UK. And, these bands are playing sort of 500 capacity event, like the Underworld. That's a general hardcore show in the US, but when they come to Germany, they can play to 2,000-3,000 people and huge festivals and stuff like that. It doesn't really happen for hardcore bands in America. So hardcore as a scene is quite small on the grand scale of things. We're talking about the music industry. So UK hardcore within that, you're fucking guppies in a world full of sharks.
Yeah.
I mean,
you're a niche within a niche within a niche.
Exactly. So when we're doing like the 100 Club, that's a fairly big show for the level we're all at, you know, and, UK Hardcore returns, I think it's sold out. If it's not, it will be sold out any day soon. But that, the New Cross, to sell out something like the New Cross with all them bands, that is what UK Hardcore is. When, May Rach and the girls were doing Ninja Fest. That was the Underworld. Yeah. These are small venues. These are clubs. Yeah. These, when you see big bands, when we used to play in the clubs, that's our headline gigs. That's our festival headline gigs. That's where they're taking place. So that puts it in the perspective of where we are in UK hardcore.
Like playing the 12 bar was amazing.
Yeah, I mean the 12 bar, I loved it. I just loved the 12 bar. But it was 100 people sold it out. Barnett said one of the nights we played there, we had like nearly 300 people in there, and they couldn't see the show because there's standing on the stairs to the toilet and in the snooker room and outside in the alleyway and all that.
I remember you guys playing. It was your 15th anniversary show.
Yeah,
you played, and that was actually where I met Mark, and he asked me to join Proven.
Oh, there you go.
But that show was absolutely rammed. And I think you played the December before 12 bar closed because Proven played that show.
Yeah.
It was like Proven, 9 bar, Knuckledust. I can't remember who else played it. Maybe Idle Hands or someone like that.
Yeah, I can't remember.
And when you guys were on, I couldn't actually get back into the building from the alley. And I know someone shoved Andy BDF in there at one point. And
I was going to say, the way to get back in is just stand not too close to the back doors, but close enough so that when they spring open, when someone gets thrown through them, you can just quickly hop in.
Well, I almost got taken up by that door because ammo got thrown through it.
Oh, man.
So ammo's gone flying through
the hinges.
Well, ammo went flying through the door, and he went so far that he hit the fucking Enterprise on the far side, and the door literally whistled past my face and back again. I was literally just stood there in absolute petrified fear, like, what in the fuck is going on in there?
I think 9 Bar was playing one night. I see some old sort of, like old rock and roll type dude, Brothel Creepers, pink polka dot shirt type guy having a cigarette, leaning on the door. and he just got squished, man, between the door and the bit of brickwork, and it was proper Tom and Jerry style. Like, come back, and his fag was all bent. I was like, fucking hell, man, that guy's just got smashed in the face pretty hard. And he was quite an old guy, and I just think, you know what I mean? He played it out, like, because everyone was watching. He's like, yeah, I reckon he went around the corner and went,
I mean, when that venue was packed, like, people would dance and fuck knows how, because there was no room in there, but you'd see people fucking dancing and shit. And there was no way. I remember I took my ex-girlfriend now to see, I think it was to see an Early Proven show. And she was like, well, where can I stand that's safe? I was like, balcony. Balcony, if you're lucky.
The balcony was safe from the pit, but I'm not sure it was structurally safe. And the roof leaked. When it rained outdoors, it rained indoors at the 12 bar. And if you stood on the balcony, you got soaking fucking wet. So, I miss that place. I miss the character of it. And, you know, I've just wrote a piece actually for the 12 bar memories for the book that Barnett's putting out about it. And I've done it. I don't know if it's a chapter or a few pages in that, whatever it's going to end up being, but about how we brought hardcore to it, because that was through me being on tour when I was in the business, and I was in Malaysia, and Barnett was the tour manager, and that was the first time I'd met him.
Okay.
And I was talking about Knuckledust and blah, 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 and he's like, well, why don't you come and play our club? And I said, what's your club? And he said, oh, the 12 bar. So I was like, oh, I'll come down for a drink and I'll have a look, you know, because I thought it was going to be this massive club. And I thought, oh, man, he wants me to play this club. I think he thinks my band's a bit bigger than it really is. And so I went down for a pint. I told him the story that I went down for a pint on a Wednesday night and came home on Sunday. But, I went down for a pint one night in the midweek and looked at it, and I thought, this is going to be a mad hardcore show if we play this one.
Yeah, because that was when the balcony was right over the top still as well, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So, like, if you was on stage, for people who never saw it at this point, if you was on stage, you couldn't see the audience. All you could see was the fists swinging at your feet.
Yeah, and the gig I was watching on that Wednesday night, they used to do showcases for the major labels.
Yeah,
like they'd showcase their new artists and stuff. So the show I was watching was like a folk singer type thing, and it was all very civilized. There was a guy on a keyboard and a lady sitting on an amp, and they was all standing there nodding their heads and like applauding and appreciating the art that was in front of them. And I thought that's what all the gigs there were like. So I said to Barnett, all right, we'll book it, let's do it. So we put the date in the diary, did the gig, and it was, I think there was about 3 fights that night. It was absolute fucking carnage, chaos. So afterwards I shit myself a bit and I thought, I'm going to hide from Barnett, because I didn't know him that well at that time. We'd had a good week in Malaysia, but we're still getting to know each other at that point. So I was like, shit, man. I was avoiding him. I saw him, and then like he'd come across from the bar, and then I'd go back out the alleyway or something else, like hiding from him, because I thought he'd going to go, you fucking owe me money, you broke the venue. But he finally bumped into me and he goes, did you enjoy that? I was like, yeah, it was really good. I said, I'm really sorry about everything that's gone on. He said, no, I fucking loved it, man. We've got to do this once a month. We've got to get it on once a month. And he said, it was brilliant. I loved it. So I was like, wow, all right. So I said, you know, I'm not a gig promoter. It's not my forte, you know what I mean? I'm not that guy. But I can put you in touch with someone who is, and I put him in touch with Matty Bar.
Yeah.
Matty Bar and Ruction, and said, these guys will do it. They've got the bands who are itching to play it. So speak to them. And
Matty Bar did that for a few years before. I think Pierre took it over towards it.
Yeah, Pierre. Well, it was Pierre took it over, and then they've all had a hand in it in one way or another. Yeah. It's but yeah, it just sort of happened, didn't it? It was once a month. Who wants to play? And then in the end, I don't even think they asked bands. Bands just said, "Can I play the next one?" So yeah, you're on.
Yeah. I mean, I know, because obviously towards the end of it was when Louis started to get really heavily involved in Ruction as well.
Yeah,
and it'd just be like, "Hey, Gino, put Proven on."
Yeah,
it's just like, it's your band, bruv. Like, fucking start promoting it.
Yeah. Well, that's how it worked. And the thing is, I miss it for that reason as well. It was like a base. I knew that once a month there'd be a hardcore show going on.
Yeah.
And it gave me the opportunity as well to meet and talk to a lot of people, to say, well, look, why don't we thrash this out? Why don't we meet up for a beer before the gig? You know, at 12, we'll go around the corner, get something to eat, and have a proper business chat, if you like, about what we're going to do with this tour or whatever it is. And then we'll go to the gig afterwards and get smashed up. And they go, yeah, all right. So that's I did that quite a few times. You know, I'd go around and meet up in a bar around the corner or something, and then head over to 12 bar. But that's missing now. You know, we've got that missing. Gigs happen and stuff, but they're not regular like that. I can't say, well, I know there's going to be a gig at the start of next month, so we'll meet up there.
I mean, obviously, I don't know if Unicorn survived this whole fucking shit show of COVID, but that became like once every 2 months.
Yeah,
The Ruction Night was there every 2 months. And that's one of the reasons I started radio, because I just didn't feel there was enough shows.
yeah.
And I
It
was
was a
like,
different vibe at the Unicorn. I don't feel that the Unicorn supported what we're doing at all. I just,
it's gone through a couple of owners while we've been there as well. I'm pretty sure it's gone through like a couple of different
yeah,
people.
I don't know who it is now. I might be wrong, and it might just be my perception of it. But I just don't think. I just get the feeling they didn't want us there. If something better come along, they'd take it. But
I
I
mean,
don't know.
it was all free music, wasn't it? When we first went there, their whole thing was they wanted to provide free music, so Ruction couldn't take money at the door and stuff like that.
Mm.
And it was only the last few shows that they've actually been able to take money at the doors, where they've kind of, it changed ownership, and they were like, yeah, it's fine. Rather than giving you a percentage of the bar, you take the door or something like that.
Yeah,
The percentage of the bar thing, I'm always dubious about with any venue, because I'm always like, well, how do I know what you've taken behind the bar?
it's bollocks. It doesn't
Like,
work. I
now,
mean, the thing is as well, it stops you from growing that kind of deal because you can't. You can't. You can see that somebody like MAD are booking a band in Europe. You can't pick up the phone to them and go, right, I want to put on. I see you're booking H2O on their tour, so you're going to put on there a posse sort of festival type thing,
yeah,
whatever, something different to what you're normally used to get a different crowd or whatever. So you can't ring them up and say, look, I can offer a London date on this day and I can offer them X amount of money.
yeah,
And it stops your scene growing because you need these bigger bands to come over to put the support acts on to get known, to grow the whole thing,
yeah,
blah, blah, blah,
exactly.
right? So it's a revolving belt. So you need a door. You need a door. You have to have a door, and you've got to take money on the door to be able to say, right, listen, if we charge 10 quid a ticket, we can put on whoever it may be,
Yeah,
Wisdom and Change or Mabel, whoever you want to put on who's coming over on tour. You hear about them coming on tour, you can bring up that booking agent to say how much you guys want to put on thingy for, and then you can do your maths and say it'll work or not.
yeah,
But it doesn't grow if you're stuck in somewhere where there is just UK hardcore going on. That's great, and we'll have fun. Couple of drinks. I keep saying that. I'm talking like a fucking elky. But we have a couple of drinks together and we hang out with our mates and all that. But and that's great and I love it. But it doesn't grow that way. Do you know what I mean? That's not progressive.
no,
That becomes stuck in the mud, because what happens then is people get used to seeing the same thing all the time, get bored and drop off.
yeah,
It's not exciting anymore. You're not bringing excitement. You just go, should we pop to the show? No, I don't know. Is anything else on? It's that kind of conversation. We've all had them. We've all had
yeah,
these conversations in the past, where you think, do you know what? I'd rather go to so-and-so because I think he's going to be there and I ain't seen him for years. And so, all right, let's go and meet them there instead of going to the show. Whereas it should be, no, I want to go to that show. That's going to be a fucking good show, man. I can't wait for that show.
yeah.
And that's what you've got to try and keep going over here is the excitement.
And I think, obviously, with the whole COVID situation and Brexit kicking in, we're going to have to be reliant on UK hardcore to a certain degree to start with, because we don't know what the situation is going to be with getting bands over here for a while,
Yeah.
at the very least.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping it makes people here more appreciative of what we've got here.
Well, we've been speaking to some promoters who have basically said, trying to get on some different gigs and things. And they've basically just said, no, we're not booking anyone from outside our country at the moment. It's too much of a risk to the festival, to the finances of it, to everything else to be able to book something and then it pull through on a week before or something because of a government,
change or whatever.
Yeah, whatever they do. Yeah. So it's like, all right, fuck it then. We're stuck to playing the UK for 2021 for sure. So we're doing a couple of gigs in the UK. Obviously 100 Club, we've got one in Newport, a couple booked up around. But, you're talking to promoters about what to do in 2022 and they're just like, I don't know, man. Speak to me at the end of 2021 and I'll let you know. So it's just fucking hard time for bands. But I don't mind. I can take it because we've had our time. We've had a great time doing it. It's been fun.
Yeah.
I feel sorry for you. I feel sorry for the bands that are just getting their shit together that probably in 2020 would have took off and done something, leveled up a bit, played with bigger bands, learned something, seen something new, met new people, all that stuff you've missed out on a year. If I could put that into my first 1 or 2 or 3 years of being in a band, that's fucking huge. What I would have missed out on back then.
Yeah.
That you guys are missing out on now. So
I mean, like I
that's
say,
another reason why I say, to try and fast track this, if there's anything any of the bands can help with, then everyone has to use us. You know what I mean? I'm not just talking about Knuckledust. I'm talking about, I'm sure, all of our bands, the Ruction bands. If we've got something to share, then I'll say to the bands, share it, man. Share it with the younger guys. And if Younger guys, you go off and do something interesting. Come back and say as well, you've got to go and play in so and so in Liverpool.
Yeah,
Have you ever played there? No, go up there. They'd love it, man. And
yeah.
talk to the promoters about us, and we'll come up there and we'll put us in touch. Let's do it for each other, and then that way it grows.
And that's like, it's a massive thing, like to be able to communicate amongst the bands and be like, yo, look, we went and played Leicester the other week. It was fucking banging. Get Knuckledust up there because, you know, they're dying for a big band to come and play up that area and stuff like that, just to have the feedback back and forth between the generations. Because, like you say, we'd played 2 shows and we had 3 more books for 2020, start of 20, like the first part of 2020. And one of them was with Shai Halud and one was with Jesus Piece. The other one was a bit of a strange show that we got booked on at the last minute. I was just like, oh, one of the bands mentioned they'd like you to play with them. We were like, oh, fair enough. And that was supposed to happen the week that we shut down.
That's bullshit, man. You know, that would really piss me off. I mean, it pissed me off that we was booked to do Sound of Revolution.
All right, yeah.
And that cancelled, and I was gutted. I was really looking forward to doing that. I really wanted to do that. You know, that might have been the only big festival that we could have got right in our whole history. You know, there'd have been no strings breaking and nothing blow up. Who knows? I doubt it, but you know,
because Martin's just announced whatever he's doing this year. He's not put a bill up, but he's just announced the event and the dates, I think, hasn't he?
Yeah, it's going to be more. Well, I'm not going to say it's for him to say really, but I don't think it will be I don't think it can be as international as it used to be because of, the US is still in a pretty bad way with the virus. They're slow getting through the vaccinations. Europe has got every fucking man for himself. They've all got their own rules, kind of like us with Wales and Scotland. Although we share each other's land, it's just fucking madness, you know.
Yeah.
So who knows? You just really can't say. A festival of that size this year, you're never going to 100% be able to say it's going to go ahead until everyone's had 2 shots of a vaccine and this virus has gone away. You know,
this is it. I mean, the number that the government keeps coming up cracks me up when they're like, oh, we've vaccinated 15 million people, 20 million people. It's like, no, you've half vaccinated 15 million people.
But then they're saying, and I'm trying to follow the science on this, they're saying that the vaccine is now, it looks like it's stopping the spread.
Yeah.
And it looks like it's effective against you effective against death. Basically, needing to go on a respirator, and a lot more effective than they originally thought. Now, if all this data comes out and it's true, then our government's gamble, and it was a gamble, doing this 12-week period between vaccine shots when it should have been 3 weeks.
Yeah.
You know, it looks like this gamble will have paid off. They got lucky, though, because this could have been an enormous fuck-up. If they're giving everyone 1 shot, and then they're dying of COVID within that 1 shot before the second one, that would have been a huge fuck. So it looks like they've gambled, and it might be paying off for them. To which they'll say, that was our idea and you vote for us because we got that bloody...
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm dreading the next general election when all the fucking all the propaganda from both sides comes out regarding... Because everyone's agenda will be based around what's been happening.
Yeah, I can't... I just absolutely detest party politics now more than ever. I just can't... There's too much information out there on the internet for people to get individually, to make their own minds up individually, even if it's a meme that says, you know, you're all going to die if you use tissues. Any dumb shit people are believing now. Yeah. And, there's intelligent people bringing forward cases for what is absolute bollocks, but presenting it well on YouTube and saying it well. You know, if you take the vaccine, you're going to lose all your sperm. But bringing it in like a doctor would, you know, and people going, fuck, I ain't taking it. And this kind of stuff's out there now. And that snowball's rolling down the hill. It's huge. You're never going to stop that. So for me, party politics is dead because people are voting for celebrities now. They're not voting for party politics or what a party can or can't do for you. Because
I think people in this country forget as well, you don't actually vote for your prime minister in this country.
No, you vote. Yeah, exactly. You
vote for your local MP, and then whichever party has the most MPs in Parliament is the one who their leader becomes your prime minister.
Well, you vote for a manifesto as well, a set of promises that get changed after the first 3 months in office every single fucking time. So I think, I was getting wound up about that stuff a few years ago, and I decided just to cut it out of my life. I just don't do politics really. I concentrate on what I've got to do to look after me and my own on my doorstep of my house. And I include world politics in that because people are getting, there's mental health pressures out there are huge. And a lot of that is coming off the pressures of things that people can't control. Why are
Yeah.
you going to go to bed at night worried about what Joe Biden or Donald Trump's doing? That's not going to affect what you do in the morning. It's just not. You know, you're
No.
going to go to your shit job, get your minimum wage, and pay your fucking bills and be broke. Now, if you want to improve that situation, you've got to ask what can you. There's no point blaming Trump and Biden and Boris and everybody else, Keir Starmer, whoever you want to blame them all you want. But at the end of the day, it's your fault. It's you. You've got to change that situation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You've got to wake up in the morning and go, I'm sick of this shit. I'm changing up this situation this week. I'm going to write down on a bit of paper the small steps I'm going to take towards the big goal that makes me improve whatever I need to improve.
Yeah.
And then once you start thinking like that, it's a selfish way of thinking. And good, let it be. Because people are so pressured by world issues that they can't control.
Yeah. I mean,
people are falling out over fucking. How can you fall out over a politician that's a million miles away from you? It's got nothing to do with your life.
yeah. I mean, I've jokingly said, like, because I found this out, that it only costs £500 to run to be a minister.
Really?
Yeah, you can sign up.
You going in, Johnny? You're going to have a go.
I might actually go in just to see if I can.
In your next election.
Yeah. Just. But my whole reasoning behind it is I just want to get into a Prime Minister's question time on that bench, and they have to listen to your question at some point and get up and be like, right, all of this in this room is bollocks to everyone out there.
Yeah.
And just say it on a Prime Minister's question time and see if that can go viral. Like, look, everyone out there doesn't give a shit about your traditions, about the fact you're not allowed to use the word you're a liar, and you're not allowed to point at each other. You've got to wave your thumb at each other and all this shit. No one out there gives a fuck about all of that. What they give a fuck about is...
Yeah. I would have voted for the first politician that put their hand up and said, you know what, honestly, I am so sorry I made a mistake there. That was on me.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. I'd say, you know what, fuck me, you're getting my vote, mate. I don't even know what you stand for. I'll have a read about it, and then you'll get my vote. But they don't, do they? They don't ever own up to their problems. They don't ever admit their shortcomings. They
don't even answer questions.
One thing. Now, if I ask you about, that light switch behind you, that light switch don't work, you'll go, but that's a brilliant door handle. One of the best door handles made in Britain. What's that got to do with anything? You know what I mean? It's just, and it annoys me. So I just turn it off the telly. I cut it out of my life. At the end of the day, if I want to improve my life, I've got to take the steps to do that. I can't blame. I spent years when I was younger blaming the government, blaming the banks, blaming everybody. It was everybody's fault, but it weren't my fault. I just couldn't get ahead. Everybody else was stopping me. But actually, it was me. It was my fault.
Well, even on a smaller scale, and it's what I wrote No Excuses about when we did the infraction song. It was like, there was lots of people that you were seeing being like, oh, this has happened, and this has happened, and this has happened. And you saw the same people complaining about things happening to them. And I was like, well, at some point, the common denominator is you.
Yeah, it's you. Like, and there is no luck. Like, people say, oh, you're so lucky for this and that. Not to me particularly, but, people out there, oh, that guy's so lucky. You create your luck. Same with your band, man. If you're playing big festivals and, oh, they're so lucky to be on that bill. They're not lucky. The geezers have been hustling for the last 4 months.
Yeah.
Fucking promoter to try and get on that bill. They've driven 1,000 miles across land to be on that bill through 2 nights.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's not luck. You created your luck.
And that's what I've said to Infractions. Like, look, if you do want to get onto some of the bigger shows, the first thing we've got to do is just play as many fucking shows as we can up and down the UK.
Yeah.
Because that will get people to go, okay, it will hone the craft. You'll get good at playing live because you're doing it all the fucking time. And secondly, people will start to know your name because you're appearing on every fucking bill you can get your name on.
Yeah, appearing at the bill and then connecting with the crowd. You're talking to them at the show afterwards, hanging out at the merch, the bar, whatever. There's also, there's bands that would bowl in the venue, giving it the big and play their show, get in the van and fuck off. That doesn't work. That don't work. You've got to engage.
Yeah.
You can do that once you've made it.
I mean, I get it if you've got to be somewhere the next day early for whatever reason.
Yeah, but
but generally you should be playing.
People know the bands who are doing that. People know the bands who are doing that, who are just coming in, turning up and buggering off home. I get it as well. You've got to be somewhere. You normally hear bands like they are because they've hung out much before. They are. If they've got to be somewhere that night, you'd say, "I'm really sorry, I can't stick around." I can't do it. I've got to shoot off. And all right, I'll see you later. Take it easy. But then you see the bands that are just coming and going, and they're just using your scene and everything you've worked hard for and built as a platform for something much bigger.
Yeah.
They're stepping on your fucking head to get over the barrier.
I mean, there are bands here in the UK that I won't mention names of, but I genuinely feel like that's what they've done.
There has been throughout our years of doing it, and they don't last long because they don't get the support.
Yeah.
Or they'll get up to a level that's pretty big, and pretty soon people realise they're arseholes, and they fizzle out.
Yeah.
There's no longevity in that sort of thing. That shit don't wash. It just doesn't wash. People see through that.
Yeah.
You know?
Because you're so used to the scene as we know it, where everyone helps everyone out
Yeah.
as much as
Yeah.
possible. Like, getting back to what you were saying before about, like, we've got to come together. There is a divide in the scene. There's an undoubted divide in the scene, just in London alone.
Yeah.
And it's a tough one to talk about because obviously I don't want to get anyone fucking in the shit, but it's like, I do feel like there's our side of things, sort of Ruction, LBU, Ready Eye, that side of things. And there's another side of things whereby they don't help us out. We've reached out to them and we've been like, yo, come put one of your bands on here and we'll put your few of your bands on there. But it's never returned.
Yeah, but you've just got to keep trying. You've got to keep trying. And whoever these people are, have got to, at some point, say, all right, it's for the bigger picture. You've got to think of the bigger, because your thing and their thing is probably not that big.
No, it's not.
It's probably not that big. And if it comes together, it could be big. Where do you take it from New Cross Inn? Where's the next level we want to be at?
I mean, the next one would be Underworld, I'd guess, would be the next one up, wouldn't it?
Underworld, all right. Where's the next from that? Where do we grow? You know what I mean? Where do we want to be?
At that point,
I'm stuck in fucking back rooms of pubs forever.
Yeah.
That's UK hardcore. Is that what it is?
Because
if that's what it is, then we carry on dividing it, pull it even further apart. Let's take it in the venue smaller than 12 bar. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous.
I'll be honest, we've done that once.
Yes, I've a few times.
We did a show in we put a Radio Eye show on in a place in Bow near Devons Road Station. And it was a back room of a pub, and it must have been able to hold about 30 people maximum. And some of them 30 were stood on the back of a couch.
I was going to say, the other used to play squats in Hackney, and it was someone's living room.
Yeah, it's just.
We actually played in Andrew Nolan's basement.
Yeah, well, that's the 9-bar squat thing, wasn't it? The 9-bar squat party.
No, yeah, it was Andrew's basement in East Ham. And one day he ordered a pizza, and they got the pizza wrong. And he complained, and they come back, and he had a go at the geezer, and the geezer threw a brick through the front window of the house. Good old days, John. That's the memories I've got of them days. People throwing bricks through windows, not music.
The good old days was like having to deal with Calibre.
Yeah, exactly. Well, mate, whenever there was Calibre, there'd be a fight without a doubt. There was, there wasn't a Calibre show without a fight.
No, like I said, I think I've mentioned it on here before. The Ruskin Arms show, where halfway through a song, fucking Terry just dropped the mic. He'd seen someone he didn't like, dropped his mic, walked over, banged him out, turned back around, picked the mic up, and carried on like nothing had happened.
Yeah,
and it's just.
They've done loads of gigs like that. Terry Hayes, their first guitarist, he was the same. He just take the guitar, go, hold that a minute, mate. Hold that and just go and just start pounding someone in the fucking mouth. The guitar's going, come back, then carry on playing. Like, what was all that about? And he's open up like a bag of fucking cranberries somewhere.
Well, that's who I knew. That's how I got into it, was through that lot.
Yeah.
Like, I went to school with Ainsley.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, he's the year above me. So there's a guy who used to live just around the corner from here who I've been friends with since we were like babies. Oh, right. We'd gone to primary school together. And then when we went to secondary school, I went to a different secondary school. Now, he's the year above me as well. So he met Ainsley and Ricky Mando and all that lot at Woodside while I went to Cumberland. Then when I transferred over, we started hanging out over Beckton quite a bit. And obviously... he was like, oh, yeah, come over. This is Terry Haynes. This is Ricky Manlow. And Simmons was the annoying little kid that would turn up late. Because we'd all be hanging around over Beckton from probably about 6 o'clock. Like, it was this traditional thing of people at home. I don't know if you guys did the same, but it'd be like, you'd go home, get home from school, you'd sit down, you'd have your meal. While he was having your meal, you'd probably be watching some shit like Neighbours.
Yeah.
And at 6 o'clock, when the news came on, you all went out.
Yeah.
You met up over Beckton. And we'd just hang out by the pyramids.
By the pyramids. Yeah.
We'd all hang out over by the pyramids. And
then Evans was always over there.
Yeah. And then maybe about 8:30, 9 o'clock, Simmons and his mate Colin Bridger would rock up.
Yeah.
And like you'd have Simmons, this bouncing ball of energy, which I couldn't take. I couldn't deal with him. Just please, like, stop, just slow down. Just just chill for a couple of minutes, stop being a mental case for like 5 minutes, and we'll be good.
Yeah.
And that's how I met all that lot. And then
I loved them. I loved them. I still do. I mean, I was never really big into the metal side of the hardcore stuff. I was always more on the punk side of things. But 50 caliber, I knew that there was going to be excitement in it. It's what I was talking about earlier. How do you connect with the kids, man? For me, it was 50 caliber. There was always something. And if it wasn't them, it was someone in the crowd, not just the fighting, but the chaos of the gig.
yeah,
To kick a table of drinks over or something like that. It was just fucking madness. The whole thing was it was like letting out a bag of wasps when they went on stage. It was great. And Billy would be Billy. Billy would be a complete fucking mess, drunk on the drums and fucking frantic shouting, "Come on, you cunts!" on the mic. And I loved the whole thing. It was just chaos. I thought, this is fucking brilliant. And they were playing metal music, but they were a punk rock band, man.
yeah.
Like that band didn't give a fuck what you thought about them.
This,
They done Battle of the Bands in Romford. And he goes, in third place, it's 50 caliber. Terry goes up and just went, bang, bang the judge out, chinned him for putting them in third place. I was like, this is unbelievable, But then, they started taking it more seriously and they've had a few lineup changes. It slowed down. It gets going and it seems to slow down. And I think they're one of them bands that could have done a lot more than they did, a good proper package tour with them and a good solid lineup. Because the music's great, they wrote a good first EP, some good releases out there. Terry was great on the mic. And
I always thought like when they first started, there was always a sense of nervous energy in the room because you never knew what the fuck was gonna like. It was kind of intimidating to go and see Caliber because you didn't know what the fuck was gonna happen.
Yeah,
like it was always like right, and Caliber are playing. Let's just strap in and like.
Yeah, we had that reputation about them by then as well. So it's just like, fucking hell, I'm going to stand right at the back. Everybody had been standing right around the back and at the side of the walls until there was no more room left and he was going to get fucking kicked.
Because the first time I saw them was like, I think Terry said to me it was their second show and it was the first time they played Ruskin Arms.
Right.
And there was some lad with a fucking chain wrapped around his fist spinning through the pit.
Yeah.
I didn't know it at the time, but that's evidently the first time I saw Pierre because there was he was quite skinny at the time. There's a little kid seemingly being bounced and thrown around the fucking pit like anything.
He'd have been one of only probably the only brown kid in there at the time.
Possibly,
so Pierre would have been the only,
yeah,
him and Waymer and possibly Anthea, and that's it. That was all that we had back then. So that's how Waymer knew Pierre before the gig, but didn't know him, never spoke to him, but. From the biggest shows in London at the Marquee and that, there was always another brown boy.
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, you're that brown kid who's at the shows, isn't it?" Yeah.
Well, Ruskin
got jumped by the Nazis at the Spud Monsters gig, and Wayne remembered him from that.
Ruskin Arms was a mental place because when you think about like you had us lot on one side of the building, you'd have the Hells Angels in another part of it, and then you'd have fucking racist skinhead bastards on the other side of it. And we were all just in this pub together, just like.
It was so strange, man. When I think about that was a tinderbox. I don't know how that never kicked off massive in there. Because like you say, there was so many different fractions, different sides of ugliness as well. Yeah. Some of them people were hard as well. Some of them got locked up for a long time after. So I don't know how. I mean, it kicked off in there a few times, but I don't know how there wasn't a murder or something, something real big that went off in there. Just,
I mean, the landlord there
seems to just have a lid on it.
The landlord there seems to have it all under pretty solid control.
Jack, he was. He was.
He wasn't taking any shit off anyone.
No, he was a pretty scary dude. But then he had the Hells Angels on the door as well, and I think they were working together. So it was just a lid was kept on everything. Just like respect the venue. If you want to do anything, then we'll do it tomorrow around the park type of thing. You know what I mean? I don't think the Ruskin was. It was one of them places that normal people. You'd say, "Oh, where was you last night?" "I went in the Ruskin." "What? You went in there? What's it like in there?" You know what I mean? It was a pretty notorious place.
It's pretty weirdly laid out as well because it was all them long benches.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't like a typical pub with little small tables here, there, and everywhere. It was like these longs, almost like fucking picnic benches.
Yeah, that's because you couldn't wrap a chair around anyone's face because there weren't no chairs. So it was all pretty strategically planned. I mean, Nicky got thrown out of there one night because he was smoking a fag over the pool table. He was playing pool. And the landlord literally just picked him up and threw him out of the pub. So you don't smoke over my fucking tables. to the man and said, "You're banned for life. Get the fact you're fucking barred. Get out. Don't ever come back." Then the next week he had to come back saying, "Please let me in." The guy let him in the end. He's like, "All right, come in, but I'll catch you smoking over the table. You're fucking never coming back here again." He's like, "Oh, I won't.
Did you not
Because
play there?
yeah, we played there. I didn't like playing there, to be honest. We played there at the time when it had a decibel limiter on it.
Oh, okay.
So the neighbour moved in next door. It's a typical London scenario. The neighbour moved in next door and complained about the noise in the pub, and the council took the side of the neighbour.
Yeah.
The pub, you've got to turn the music down. They're like, "We've been here for fucking 30 years playing heavy metal and rock music. And now, because one geezer's moved in, we've got to turn it down."
Yeah.
So we're not going to. So they ended up going to court, and the deal was done with the guy that you could have it as loud as you want up to 11 p.m, but with the doors shut. All the doors had to be shut.
Yeah.
And the windows. So they could have it as loud as they had it with heavy metal. But then if the door opened, it kicked in a decibel limiter and it cut the sound. It just turned off. And the door would be opening every 5 minutes. You know what I mean? Someone would be falling drunk onto it or lean on it by accident. It just open a half inch, and the music goes off. And everyone turned. I've done it, we all did it a couple of times on the door. If you leant on the door, the music go off, and everyone's going, "You fucking idiot!" She comes and shut the door. Move away from there. You didn't.
If the band is shit, you're just like, lean against that.
Yeah, shit. But then it used to go on till 3 a.m. as well.
Yeah.
Because of all this rule, it got, it's the same. There's a lot of venues have had that in London. I'm pretty sure someone told me that's being reversed now. That the government reversed that. They said that if you move in next door to a venue now,
you
complain about noise. Yeah, there's a thing now as part of the legal pack of any houses that it says you're living next door to a live music venue. End of. Yeah. That's it. So, and I think, but I don't know how true that is. I've never looked into that.
Really, the thing is that is how it should be, because you know you're moving into a next live venue. Like,
it's been the death of a lot of our music venues is residents complaining about the noise. It just shuts the venues down.
Yeah. And now we're in a situation where the only venues left kicking, especially after this COVID bullshit, are going to be these big corporate venues.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, it's looking that way now anyway, I think.
That doesn't work for us.
No.
Like that.
No, it doesn't. I mean, the 100 Club's a good gig to do, and I'll be really happy if it goes ahead, but it'll be the last time we play it, possibly. Yeah. There's no disrespect to the 100 Club. It's just that it's to do something like that, it would just be easier for us just to do it at New Cross venue.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? For a similar type of gig. It's only that we're going through all this because it's prestigious.
Yeah.
It's something different for all of us, to play a venue like that. And I want the hardcore scene to see the 100 Club and say, look, this is where punk rock began. This is where London's music scene began. Yeah. This is it, mate.
It's the oldest independent venue. I think it's the oldest independent venue in the world.
Yeah, it is, yeah. It's the core of everything that's influenced everything we do. So we should be playing there. That's the only reason I'm doing it. But once we've done that, that bubble's burst. It's like, you've done that now. See, I always look at what's the next thing to do now. That's what I'll be thinking about.
Wembley.
Wembley for the car park. Yeah. I'll be up for that.
Royal Albert Hall.
Well, actually, you know what? I joke, but I would love to do an outdoor gig in London in the summer.
Yeah.
And I've spoke before about doing something down here in Brighton, like Reading and Leeds do, but something like a London gig one day and a Brighton gig the next, but then the lineup swaps for the next day, Saturday and Sunday.
So you have like Saturday does Saturday London and goes does Brighton on Sunday.
Yeah. Saturday's lineup in London does Brighton on Sunday, or over a bank holiday weekend, so everyone's got Monday off. So, or we just do it down here and everyone comes for the weekend in the sun and books hotels and all that stuff. Or I don't know. There's so many things I want to.
I was going to say the only issue with doing it London and Brighton is they're quite close.
Yeah.
So you'd want to do somewhere like London and somewhere or Brighton and somewhere quite up north.
Or just Brighton and have all the London band, like LBU Fest, but have it on the beach in London. There's a venue right on the beach that was open to doing it. But again, it's like, I'm not going to talk about it too much because it'll probably never happen. I don't know. I'm not a gig promoter really, but we'd have to knock heads together. Like, I would use you lot. I would say to you lot, do you want to do it? I can get the venue if you want to promote the gig or something like that and say, this is what the venue's going to want cost and blah, blah, and we get it together. But it's a million miles off. But it's something I want to do. I don't think we've ever, since Uxfest, there hasn't been any outdoor gigs.
No.
In, certainly in London. I just don't know where you would do it in London. I can't see it ever happening because of the noise.
There was a skate park place that a bunch of punk kids did a show a couple of years back. It was like a sort of skate festival thing with music playing, and I think it was all sort of done like with no official knowledge, sort of thing. Like the police could have come and shut it down at any given second. But it seemed to go all right. I think Ferg went. Ferg Rich went. I don't know if Gino went as well. But they said it was a pretty good
I
day
mean,
out.
there's the thing. Look, that's something that Knuckledust want to do. So all you people that book outdoor festivals, or you've got ideas, or you know where to do it, then hit us up. You've got the details on the John Kata podcast information there. Links in his bio, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Radus Free on Instagram. Hit me up, message me, and we'll get it on.
Yeah.
Because, there might be a new pandemic in a couple of years' time. We'll all be dead. So let's just make it happen. Stop being divided. Get it on. Grow.
Do it that way. Just go nice and big with it.
Go big, go large, or go home with your fucking hardcore scene.
Yeah, I mean, an outdoor gig would be a lot of fun. I mean, I imagine it'd be a nightmare to organise.
Well, it would. I think the hardest part, if somebody said to me, I've got a venue, absolutely 100%, well, you can do an outdoor gig. That's it for me. Then the gig goes ahead. We get it on. We hire a trailer. We get a stage. We get scaffolding, rigging, speakers, lights, all that shit. Let's just do it.
Yeah.
You just do it. But the venue for me is the hardest part. I don't know anywhere that wants to do a gig. The other problem you got as well, if you do the gig and it's pissing down with rain on the day, that's the other British problem we've all got.
Yeah.
It's not the Costa del Sol, is it? You don't have that luxury of sunshine throughout the whole summer period. So it's a bit of a gamble, We'd done a gig in Slovenia. We did that punk rock, I want to say punk rock bowling, but that's Vegas, but something like that in Slovenia. And we played out over there with a big festival with Suicidal Tendencies and a few pop punk bands and stuff. And the first band played, second band played. It was sunny. It's in the mountains. There's a river. It's beautiful. Really, really, really beautiful place to play. And it was our turn to go on. We were setting up. The crowd was gathering. It was looking like it's going to be good. And this is what I talk about, big shows. This was a big show, right? Thousands of people. We had a crowd gathering. Thought, this is a good show. Let's go. You can tell when there's a vibe. All of a sudden, the clouds open. It comes down, and I'm talking bucketing down. Just as we're to start playing, right? So we start playing the set, and there's like two sort of crusty punk dudes flicking mud at each other in the pit, and everyone else is sort of hiding in distro tents and stuff, trying not to get wet. Coming in there like thousands of people just hiding under trees, and the whole field was emptied. It was fucking embarrassing. And you know what? We finished playing, packed up the stuff, and it was sunny. No, ask the others. I'm telling you the truth.
So you brought the British weather with you?
I don't know, man. It's just our luck with big festivals. There's always something. That was just an odd one, and it didn't rain for the rest of the day. It was sunny the whole day. We were sitting by the river drinking beers. It was a fantastic day out. Made loads of friends. It was great. Saw a really weird fight, but yeah, just for that, we was only on half hour. Just for half hour.
You lot are cursed.
Hey,
you lot are cursed.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, you've made it 25 years with the same lineup, so that's got to say something. In fairness, because I can't think of a single UK hardcore band that's done that. Well,
it forms like a bad sort of vibe when things like that go on. You're a bit upset about it. Not upset. We don't get upset, but pissed off, I'd say.
Yeah.
Fucking hell, man. It rained, or fucking guitar broke again. Or why does I get angry at Waymark because his guitar amp cut out. It's not his fault. I'm like, your fucking guitar amp. Why don't you sort that shit out, man? He's like, it's an electrical problem. I can't help it. And it just annoys me that the show went wrong. You got to vent. You got to let someone out.
He's an electrician. Any electrical problems in his equipment should not be.
Yeah, that's questionable. But yeah, it's just that, like you say, we're cursed. It's just our luck. You'll come and play a club the next day. There'll be hardly anyone at the fucking gig, right? And we'll play brilliantly. Be like fucking Metallica style performance. You know what I mean? In time, everything together. Played brilliant, and the show was great. Went well musically, and there was like a crusty punk and his dog standing there watching it. You've got to try and get that balancing act of playing a good show and playing well at it.
Yeah. So once you've done this 25th year anniversary lot, what are you guys planning to do anything beyond that, or
I don't know. If any record labels want to put us out on an album, then we'll look into that. And I mean, this band ain't looking to grow. You know what I mean? We're done with that shit. This is for us. It's enjoyment levels now. I'm just trying to maintain some sort of level that people will come to the shows. I'm happy with that. If I can get 100 people at a show, a couple of 100 people at a show, then I'm over the moon. You know, and we're trying to get on tours where we can with bands we want to be on tour with.
Yeah.
You know, with friends of ours, I'd like to do it on. Not even friends of ours, bands that I would like to play with that I've never played with. We've never been on tour with Terror. I'd love to go on tour with Terror. I think we'd all get on like a house on fire. I mean, we played shows with them. We know them. They're friends, and it's great. But we've never toured with them. It nearly happened. Nearly happened a couple of years ago. I can't remember what it did. I think it might have been our fault, or they couldn't do the tour, something like that. But it fell through. Didn't happen.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd like, you know, just to do that kind of thing is the future plans really, to maintain that sort of level, to get on support slots, to play, go over to Belgium, Holland if I can, if that Brexit shit hasn't ruined it. Get over there and play with our mates over there, do some shows. You know, if we can't get on package tours or get on a tour with a bigger band, then we'll just do a headline tour. We'll do it on our own.
Yeah.
And we'll just go over there and, you know, do long weekends, do Thursday, Friday, Saturday and a Sunday matinee.
Yeah.
Just book that type of thing, book it ourselves. And we do that a lot now. We know someone, you know, be it in Spain or somewhere, and we say, all right, we'll put one in France, one on the way down, you know, through France, mid-France somewhere, one at the top of Spain or Marseille or somewhere, then go down to Barcelona and then a couple on the way up. And that's a tour.
Yeah.
And it's just us doing a circuit that, you know, we can get around and come back and it covers the fuel.
Yeah. And then, like, the next time you go out Europe, you do the more northern territory, like fucking Holland and Germany and shit like that.
Yeah. I think, to be honest, at the moment, we'd probably look at doing a UK tour of some sort, of getting something going with that. Because that's the only thing that really, right now, you can say the likelihood of it happening is up there.
Yeah.
I can't even think about a European tour or traveling to America or any of that stuff at the moment. I just wouldn't risk it.
Whereas you can do it you could probably do like a show in Brighton, show in London, somewhere like Leeds, go up to Glasgow.
Yeah, exactly. Something like that. Do a round trip, you know, start down here and work our way up the left-hand side, the Liverpool, Manchester, maybe Scotland, and then on the way back down, Newcastle, Norwich, somewhere like that, you know, on the way home. So, yeah, I'd look at doing something like that. The thing is, though, it's anywhere in the world, the Monday, Tuesday night gigs suck. Wherever you are in the world.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So we tend these days, we just seem to do long weekends, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, mainly. If it's a Sunday early gig, we'll do it, or Sunday late somewhere, but it's nearer to London, we do it.
Yeah, or the Sunday show gigs in London or some shit like that. Yeah,
but even Sunday gigs are a bit touch and go at times. The energy levels are not there. Everyone's got work on their mind the next day, or they've got, it's the end of a weekend where they've been hammering it all weekend and they're at the gig to support you, but really they want to be indoors with their feet up watching a movie.
Yeah.
And that's the vibe you get at some, most Sunday shows, where I find Friday night, everybody's fucking charged.
Saturday night, Friday and Saturday night. Yeah.
Yeah. Even Thursday night, people are charged, you know, it's like, it's Friday Eve. So everybody's ready to go. You know, you can have one bad day at work and then you've got the weekend up. So I don't mind, but yeah, it's difficult. So we just, a lot of the time, we're fortunate that the offers come to us now. People often message us through Facebook and we'll talk about it and say, yeah, we can do that, or we can't do that, we can, you know, or we've done that loads recently. Why do we want to do that again? Let's use the minimum time we got off work to try and do something new for ourselves. A place we haven't been, or to meet people we haven't met, or whatever it may be, you know, just think of that sort of stuff.
Play some completely random show. Random place in the UK. Because at the moment, like we said, you know, UK is the only place we're all going to be able to play initially.
Yeah.
And there's plenty of little towns and cities in that we haven't, that certain London bands have never gone to.
Yeah.
But with the advent of the internet, and certainly the last few years with Spotify and everyone being able to listen to hardcore quite readily, they want to see these bands now.
Yeah.
Now, I know people go to me, don't go to such and such a town, it's dead, this, that, and the other. I was like, is it dead, or is it just the fact that, like, there wasn't a biggish band with you? Like, you know, if you go up there, it's just like Infraction going up there. No one's going to give a shit because we've played two shows.
Yeah.
But if Knuckledust go and play a show up in a small town that's not seen much hardcore, whatever scene they have is going to come out and see it.
Possibly. Yeah. It depends, you know. But yeah, I mean, I think so. And the other thing is, if you say, oh, don't go to that town, it's shit, it'll always be shit. We're going back to creating division and never growing, aren't we? You know? So what you've got to do is you go to a gig in a town somewhere, and if you can see that the people booking it have got good intentions and they're good people, and you think, no, they're good kids, we should help them out. You say, right, you come back to London and you phone us up and you say, look, These good kids up there. Why don't you play the show?
Yeah.
And we say, all right, let's do it. Let's fucking, we used to book coaches from London to go to places
Yeah.
and play shows and fill up a coach of 30 people and go and bombard a show and everyone has a great time. Let's do that again. Why don't we do that no more? You know what I mean? Let's get a coach going, go up to this little shit town that everyone's talking about and give them a killer show. Like, you get 30 people off a coach, get 2 coaches. We could easily, 60 people in the coaches. We all go up there, and I don't know why we don't do that more often.
Book like a bunch of you do what we used to do. We used to book a bunch of our bands in another town.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Look, there's something for the listeners. If your town puts on shows and you're struggling with shows, hit us up and we'll talk about it. We'll do a deal, and if we can make it work, we'll book a coach and we'll come up there.
Yeah, and we'll
get the whole of London Hardcore come up. All our bands will play your town.
Yeah,
and we'll bring a coach or 2 up there.
Yeah. And that way you're going to make your money on your tickets because our lot are going to be paying in that aren't in the bands.
Yeah.
So you're going to get you're not going to lose money if you're putting on the show.
Yeah.
And we'll all come up there. We'll have a good time. You'll get about 10 bands out of London easily because most of us are all in about 4 bands.
Yeah.
So even if only 5 of us are actually playing the actual show, there'll be 10 bands playing.
It's great for the bands. It's great for the local scene up there. It's great for the people that own the venue.
Yeah.
Bar staff. Great for the coach companies, which are struggling at the moment.
Yeah.
And laying people off left, right, and centre, and coaches are going into the crushing machines because they're just worthless pieces of metal now.
Yeah.
I'm all about economy, man. Let's go over with a hardcore economy. Let's go.
We'll create our own little DIY. I mean, we used to have like a little DIY economy.
Yeah. I mean, now that we can focus on the UK more, I mean, it's difficult for us because, we've got limited time off work and also there's family commitments and stuff like that. I'm getting married this year, so I need 2 weeks off of that and all this sort of stuff going on because we're old men, right? That's what happens when you get to our age. It's tough shit. But, we should do something like that to a smaller venue like Boom in Leeds. Let's get a coach. Let's go up there and fill that venue up. And, I'm sure they'll fill it themselves on their own. All right, so maybe we do 2 days there or something, stay over. I don't know. But there's ideas worth chucking around. The venues hit us up. And the lineup, we can get a lineup together that's strong enough to do it, then let's do it.
Yeah. And if you're a promoter out there, just hit us up.
Yeah, exactly.
You can hit me up. I mean, obviously, I'm part of Ready Eye as well, so hit me up. And I can be like, okay. And then I'll chat to the bands down here and I'll chat to people like Ray and that, and we'll be like, okay, let's figure out what we can do.
Yeah, no, definitely hit you up because you'll be organising it, not me. I just play the drums and drink the lager. That's my job. That's me done. But you're the logistics side of it, and I'm the I'm supporting the economy bar level.
Yeah,
you're supporting the economy logistics and the movement of the whole thing coming together. And for me, shows are magic. I just turn up and all that stuff's already there. It's great.
Mate, I'm a vocalist. I don't even have to carry anything.
Yeah, I know about them. I've been in the bands with a few of them. Yeah.
I mean, these days I do have my own mic that I take to venues because, like, even before,
that must be
weighs a ton, mate. Weighs a fucking ton. But yeah, just because even before COVID, I found I was getting sick a lot after playing shows, and it is literally like you share a fucking mic between 3 or 4 vocalists on a night, plus it going out to the crowd.
Fucking hell, man! And pre-COVID, I've always said that. What is on them mics? I'd love a scientist to examine a gig mic.
Yeah,
like the 12-bar mics. Put them in a lab. And tell me how much fucking hepatitis and shit is on them mics.
I don't think there was a single mic in 12 bar where the head of it was still rounded. They're all dented and like you could see dried blood and shit on them.
Yeah.
Fucking, it was grim, but it was a 12 bar. It was part of the experience.
I'm sure there's DNA on them mics that are from Soho murderers in the past or something. Somebody's stung into it and they go, fucking hell, the geezer was in here. He was in here. His blood's on that mic.
Yeah, with about 40 other people's DNA.
Exactly. Yeah. The stuff you. I don't want to think about it.
The DNA in the 12-bar club in general must have been fucking horrendous.
Yeah, it's part of its character, wasn't it? It was dripping off the ceilings. That's the trouble. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we've said it so many times. It's like that was our home for a decade.
Mm.
It was literally.
Yeah, and there'll be other venues come and go, but there'll never be a place like that. I don't think that you could call home. That was like our version of CBGB's, and it works for the level that we were at.
Yeah.
As a team, it was perfect. Because if you were a new band and you played there, it felt like you was playing a sold out show
Yeah.
every time, because
You
it was
kind of got
just
used to this idea. Like it gave you the feeling of like, okay, this is what it feels like to play a packed venue.
yeah, yeah,
Like, and that'd be your first show.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
Like the
Um,
first time I played there with War Christ. Well, the first time I played there was with No Survivors. And it just like there was lots of people there, and I was like, oh shit, because it was just like, oh, it's fucking packed in here. What the fuck is going on?
yeah,
Like,
there was more room. There was no room on stage for it to be too packed anyway. People sitting on stage and that it's just.
yeah,
But yeah, look, I mean, look, the thing as well that I've had a few conversations about is that the place is gone. We all have to find whatever is going to be our new place,
yeah,
and then create something from a standing start. Whatever that place may be. I know Barnett, who was running it, he spoke about various different places that might be coming together. But
yeah,
it's hard in London because of the rent and rates. And what I think might come good of coronavirus is that a lot of places will be empty and people
yeah,
will be looking to do a deal on leases just to get bodies in there. And from that, I'm sure some cool live music venues will pop up.
yeah, without a
I'm
doubt.
pretty sure, but it won't be anytime soon. It'll be a year or two, but I think some things will pop up in London, and I would love it if somebody from our scene started up a music venue
Yeah,
that was a bar that you could call home. I'd love to do that. Down here in Brighton, we've got a couple of independent venues that have just managed to hang on because they've had some funding from the Arts Council with the Pipeline and the Prince Albert.
yeah.
There's what's that one called? There's a couple of venues, and they're all still around. They've all kept their
The,
licenses.
the pipeline was amazing when I saw you lot there.
Yeah,
That was just when you just moved down there, wasn't it?
yeah. Well, I knew Thomas who owns it because we did the Pipeline in London
Yeah,
at Liverpool Street or around the back of Liverpool
that
Street.
was that your was that an album release show or was that the 20th anniversary?
I can't remember. Yeah, something like that. There was something going on. I think it was an album release, but yeah, we did that, and then I just kept in touch with him. And then I moved. Actually, before I moved down here, I come down for a day viewing house, and I just popped in for a drink and had a chat and blah blah blah. And then I moved down here, and that is my local now. That's where I go down here when it's open.
Yeah,
I'm not out every weekend. I don't go out much no more. But when I do go out, it's usually me and Leron will go out, get something to eat in town, and then we'll end up in there because that's the late bar.
yeah,
We'll go out somewhere, and then we'll always end up in the 12 bar. And then in there, it's kind of like that. It's a 12 bar, the Pipeline. I mean, it's kind of like that 12 bar vibe, though. People just pop in.
yeah,
Point. It's good for us because we're quite new down here. So, Tom McFall, who sings in Barstool Preachers, works behind the bar sometimes. And that's where I met for the first time. I met Connor from Stonehand in there.
yeah,
Started talking about hardcore with him, and he's like, I'm in Stonehand. I was like, oh, there you go. We'll get a show on together and do something. And there's a few people I've met. People come down from London to Brighton and Google
yeah.
Metal Bowl, and they end up in there, and you meet people, you see people, what are you doing in here? You know what I mean? I've seen a few friends that pop down for the day, and
Yeah.
we just come down for the weekend. So it's a great place for that. It's a great place to meet people. And thankfully, at one stage, Thomas was saying it's going to be in big trouble if we don't get some sort of funding. They've done a charity thing and people raised money for it. And the Brighton Arts Council, before the funding, done a big gig at the Pavilion. Where it was streamed online, and part of the money from that gig, it got streamed online and people bought tickets from all around the world. It was really good. And part of that money got given to the Pipeline.
Oh, nice.
Helped keep them running for another couple of months. And then they got the funding, and then, But I think all the venues now are at the point where they've got to open their doors soon.
Yeah.
Or, the funding doesn't even cover it. And
No.
that will be the same with the 100 Club. Don't forget the 100 Club only got saved last year.
Yeah.
There was a campaign to save the 100 Club from closure before the virus. So
it's always been sort of recently hanging on for dear life sort of thing.
Yeah, well, I mean, the Crowbar shut as well. 12 bar shut. So Soho now is being handed over to
Borderline went.
People like that. But the 100 Club, part of the reason we're playing it is because I shit myself. I thought it was going to close down.
Yeah.
I thought, if the 100 Club closes down, we'll have never played it.
And that was always like a bucket list thing for you, wasn't it?
Yeah, for me. I mean, I've played it. I've played it with other bands.
Yeah.
I played it when I was helping out the Outfit doing their thing. And I played it. I helped out Old Firm Casuals.
Yeah,
and I played it with them. So I've played it twice. I've been to loads of gigs there because I'm into the punk thing. I go to a lot of the punk and oi gigs and stuff that go on in there, and
Yeah.
I love it. I think it's a great place. But I've always said, oh, we have to get Knuckledust in here one day. We've got to make something up, but never do anything about it. Then it was threatened with closure, and then I was like, oh fuck, if this place closes down and we've never played there, I'd be
Yeah.
kicking myself. That would be a regret, and I don't regret anything really, but that would be a regret that I didn't do anything about playing there. So yeah, and sod's law will be now we've booked it, it's sold out. They'll probably shut down next month.
Don't fucking say that.
Oh,
Do you have a backup for this show if that does happen?
No, but there will be one.
Yeah.
I would give everyone the option of a full refund if they wanted it.
Yeah.
Which I really don't want to do. That'd be a pain in the arse to navigate that, but we'd do it. Or we'd rearrange it, but it wouldn't be at any of the venues we all know. I'd do something completely different.
Yeah.
It'd be on a boat on the Thames or something. There's a few.
What's the capacity of that place?
300.
300.
And that's including the bands and security. So I think about 270, something like that.
Okay.
So it's 300 to fire capacity. But yeah, I'd do something a bit more memorable than just moving it to, with no disrespect to New Cross, but we're used to seeing it. I want to do it somewhere. It would probably end up being outdoors or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
It'd be something a bit more unique.
Do a repeat of the boat fucking show.
Yeah, I probably would do it on a boat. We might have to split that into 2 shows on a boat, but I'd do something like that. I think. But
then if you do it on the boat, you've got to play that EP. The tracks on that on the boat EP.
Oh, in your boat.
Yeah, you'd have to play them tracks.
Yeah, I regret calling it that as well. But questions from all around the world asking me about fucking sailing and rowing and that. And what are you on about? In your boat? Isn't that what you guys like? You like boating? No.
You got to remember, slang doesn't translate in every part of the world.
Yeah, well, I learned that the hard way, after the record come out. But yeah, it was in your boat race, in your face, obviously, as we all know. But yeah, in your boat. People asking me, and then you say, "No, it's in your boat, mate, in your face." No, don't get it. Goes completely over if you're not. And yeah, in hindsight, but then fuck it, man. We was trying to do a London hardcore band.
This is it. Like we were.
That's how we were speaking at the time. So well, that's how I speak. No, you got a Cockney fucking title on a record.
The best thing about like what you guys sort of educated people on, I think, was to not be American.
Yeah.
Is to just be like, look, I mean, I remember DBS was talking about this a while back, and he was producing a hip hop act or something. He was doing something like recording this guy rapping or something. He was a British guy, and he'd used a bunch of Americanisms, like feds for police, and DBS had been like, stop, what the fuck are you doing? We don't have feds in this country. We're not a federal government. Go back, rewrite it.
Yeah. And to be honest, that's why I like the grime stuff, because they've done their own thing and it resonates with, how the kids speak and, what they're up to and what they're doing. You're not singing about fantasy stuff. It's all pretty real, and that's why it blew up.
Yeah,
because everything come from the heart. So I love that. I love it for that reason. And that now that grime thing is blowing up, and they're all. A lot of the artists are saying we're only just getting started and blah, blah. Personally, I think that's it. Its bubble's pretty much burst now. It can only just maintain its level. Stormzy headlining Glastonbury is the pinnacle of what you can get with that music.
It's the pinnacle of what you can get with most forms of music. In fairness, like what you're gonna.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say rock and roll, anything.
Where do you go from like that? Coachella, maybe.
Well, the thing is, but that's the thing. Now that's happened, that scene will always be big. It will always be big. It will die off a bit. I'm sure it'll be unfashionable in a few years' time and die off. But there'll be new artists who are coming out and doing different things, and that will always tick along. But the new set of youth that are coming along now, that are little kids now, that are going to start getting into music, they want a new moment. They want their own thing.
Yeah.
What is that going to be?
Oh, fuck knows at this point.
Over to you and people my age, over to you to coach your kids into giving us something that's got a fucking guitar in it, that gives us all something exciting, that we can all punch the shit out of each other in the pit, but it'd be not called metal, hardcore, or punk. That's what I want. I want to go to that show.
Yeah, because...
What is that genre? What is that movement?
Because at the end of the day, like, and this is what when I mentioned what Louis was asking about, I was like, I don't know if you do reach the kids with what we're doing now. I was like, I think they're going to do to us what we kind of did to the generation before them. where they're going to form their own shit and they're not going to give a flying fuck about us. They're just going to go, right, fuck them old bastards. This is what we're doing.
Yeah.
And
do you know what? Fair enough. Fair enough. If that's what they do, then fair enough. But, acknowledge your influences.
Yeah.
If you watched Infraction and thought, oh, I've got an idea from that, I'm going to do something, and then boom, I'm going to create my own, then go back for Infraction and say, look, we're playing Reading. You was the first band to influence us. Come and play with us. You're like, all right, yeah, we'll do that. Yeah, let's do it. Yeah. Bring everybody together.
Yeah. And this is it. I mean, I've said with Infraction, I said, look, honestly, I don't know how long the band has to exist because I'm 42.
Yeah.
And as much as I love doing it, like, my life can change really quickly at my age, sort of thing. It's like, anything could happen at 42.
Yeah.
I was like, Carrie, 25, has got another 2 or 3 bands in him, technically.
Yeah.
It's like, you know what I mean? When this keels over and eventually goes its own way, Carrie and Hannah are both young enough where they're going to be like taking what they learn from doing this into something else.
Yeah.
And that becomes their main band. And that, because most people go through 2 or 3, 4 bands before they get to us. I mean, Knuckledust's one of them rare occasions where it's like, I mean, I know it wasn't all of your first bands because I know Uphold existed.
Yeah. No, but it was really. I mean, it was the first band that went about doing it properly.
Yeah.
But all the other stuff was just Uphold never made it out of St. Mark's Church. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So where's that video footage from? Is that from St. Mark's Church?
What video? The video to the song?
There's a video. Yeah, there's definitely a video with like Danny singing on, as I've seen on YouTube.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that wasn't an official video. That wasn't. We didn't put that online. That shouldn't have ever been surfaced online. But it was a friend of ours' his college project.
Okay.
He made a music video or uni, something like that. He made a music video for his project. So there's a bit on there that he took from the New York Hardcore documentary.
Okay.
And there's a bit on there that there's from clips from the news and all sorts of things like that. And then the rest of the clips he filmed with us on a camcorder smashing up an old building in Stratford and graffiti in it and all that sort of stuff. And that was just his own personal college project. And then somehow, I can't remember how, but it surfaced online. And I was like, oh, cool, it's good to see it again. But then I thought, I hope no one's going to come at me for copyright because I had nothing to do with that. You know what I mean? Like, that's just someone's college project. So,
yeah.
But yeah, that was filmed. The live music bits are in St. Mark's Church.
Okay.
Where we're playing the instruments and stuff. But then the building smashing and all that stuff is in Stratford.
Whereabouts in Stratford was that?
It was basically where, what would you say? It's near where Bow Studios is.
Okay.
Where you've got the A12 going through. Just before the flyover, there was some old warehouses and that were there. They were derelict.
Okay.
We just went there, got into one of them. It was trash before we got there, but we just added a bit, our stamp on it, graffitied the walls, smashed the windows, and then he stopped filming. He got what he said. I've got enough footage now, and we're having fun. We're going to carry on smashing the windows and drawing on the walls. A few tinnies out and carried on with it.
Yeah. It's funny because so I suppose technically Knuckledust's the first band that went and actually played proper shows and stuff then.
I mean, that we was all in, yeah, definitely, yeah. Me, Wayne, and Nick was only doing. Well, no, Mental Torment played a show in Germany when it was just the 3 of us with Nick singing. There's video footage of that somewhere. We done a.
Was that before or after Uphold?
Before Uphold.
Before Uphold, yeah.
That was in I think that was in like '94. We done that gig, or '93, something like that. And that was part of a festival it was from the YR Reader Youth Against Racism in Europe. And they said, would you come and play this thing? It was a Nazi rally in Nuremberg. Would you come and play like an anti-Nazi rally? Yeah. And we was like, yeah, all right, yeah. It's a gig. And I didn't realise as a kid how serious that could have been. But
especially really taking Waymore with you as well. Like,
oh, yeah, no, but then it was,
that's obviously the reason for it, sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't really fully get it, I don't think. We was a bit naive to it. It was just a gig at the end of the day, and it was a gig in Germany, so exciting stuff. And actually, the Ruskin Arms, Jack from the Ruskin, gave us a load of cash. We did a thing in the new recorder to try and raise some money to get over there, because we was all poor, we had no money. In fact, you meant to get to Germany when you broke. So the Ruskin Arms did a thing, and they raised the money to get us there. So he helped us out to get us over there, and then we did it. And then there was like there was Nation of Islam, the Black Panthers. It was coach loads of political groups like this that went
Yeah.
over there, and they just thought our shit was mad. I never had anything like it. You know what I mean? These guys don't listen to. At the time, it was a heavy metal band. We was like a thrash metal band. We're covering Sepultura and fucking like crazy shit, man. Like early Metallica stuff. A couple of songs, and then we had a couple of songs we'd written, and yeah, it was a pretty big festival. And we had a mosh pit, and you see Nicky on the video like mosh pit. It was exciting, man. I was like, wow. And you come back from that and you're like, right, we've got to get it going now. We've got to do something. That's when we got Danny involved. Said, right, come on, we've got to do this. We're a hardcore band. So, yeah.
Fucking hell. That's mad.
Yeah, so we did do that. But then, yeah, anything after that was all Knuckledust, all of it. I mean, we didn't have the contacts. It was Pierre that came along and brought that all to the table. Yeah. He knew people. He was in touch. He was part of the scene. We wasn't really. We were a hardcore band, but we were just in St. Mark's.
Yeah.
And Pierre come along and he knew Ian Glasper, he knew, the other guys. He knew a lot of guys in Sheffield and stuff like that. And he brought us out to St. Mark's, really. Put us on a stage up north, and that's how we made friends and networks. Yeah, and he did his Time for Some Action newsletter. So people were hitting him up saying, look, my band's done a demo. Can you put us on the newsletter? And he'd be like, yeah, of course, man. Send me the demo. I'll give it a review. Well, why don't you come and play my show in London? We're doing it. Oh, yeah, let's do it. Well, you can come and play our show in Bournemouth or wherever it was, wherever the bands were coming from. And that's how it was him, really, that kept the network open.
And I think it's mad to think, like, someone put a post up in one of the UK hardcore groups the other day, and it was, they put a link to I think it was a Cold World album. Now, I like Cold World. Got no problem with Cold World at all. And it was like, this is the most important album of the 2000s for hardcore. And I was like, this is in a UK hardcore group. And it was like, can you think of one more important? I put two options down. I was like, first of all, if you're talking about a global thing as important and made an impact, Jane Doe, Converge. I was like, everyone knows that album if you're into hardcore. Don't have to like it, but you know it exists.
Yeah.
And then I put Time Won't Heal This, because you guys reignited the entire UK scene.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
at the time, it felt like we was killing it, but
yeah, it's strange to think like so much has come off the back of like what Knuckledust started, and I know a lot of it is put to Pierre, like, he formed Ruction Records, then all these London and UK bands get to start putting music out in physical releases and stuff like that. And then you have the fests that the guys put on between Damage Control and Matty Bar doing Real Fest. Yeah. But it all sparks from Knuckledust, essentially.
Yeah, I mean, all we did was played, really. I think what sparked from it was that we thought we were probably the only ones that were into that New York hardcore, American hardcore kind of stuff. Because hardcore bands that we played with back then, bands like Scalp Lock or Concrete Socks and stuff, that was more like cross punk.
Yeah, playing more like the Discharge style of stuff.
Yeah, it was. I mean, that was UK hardcore back then. That's what bands were supporting, Agnostic Front and stuff like that, which is cool. So those guys didn't think we were hardcore.
Yeah.
They thought they were hardcore, without a doubt. But they're looking at us thinking, what's these fucking kids would come and turn up in baggy jeans and tracksuits? Yeah. These guys were wearing studded leather jackets and they look like Discharge, Yeah. And along we come in our street clothes and coming off a fucking council estate in a tracksuit. You know what I mean? I'm playing what we call hardcore, which was really influenced by what was going on in America. So, all I think we did was forge or help, not forge. We didn't forge it. We helped the UK forge that side of it.
Yeah.
People came to our shows dressed as they were when they walked out their front door. They weren't walking around the corner and fucking spiking their hair and getting changed into a leather jacket to come to a show. Yeah. They were coming out of their house and turning up in, if it's 9 Bar, a fucking Moschino suit. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. So you wear what you want. You do what you want at our shows. There was no rules. If you want to be a punk rocker, be a fucking punk rocker. You want to come in an Adidas tracksuit, come in it. We don't care.
Yeah.
Nobody was judging anyone. And I think that was a big part of it as well, the freedom of it, of not being judged and all that. It sounds corny saying it all now, but back then that was a big part of it, I think.
Yeah, I mean, like the fact that there was people. I mean, I say my introduction to it was probably through Caliber, but my look of it was like, if they can do it, so can I.
Yeah.
because I'd gone to school with them. So it's like if I've seen people that I went to school with are now up on stage playing music, then there's no fucking reason why anyone else can't, sort of thing.
Yeah.
And that was
Yeah.
a
I mean,
big
when you
part of it
first
for us.
start writing music like that, when we was playing, practicing in St. Mark's, people were laughing at us
Yeah,
because the people around the estates, they're not into that music. They don't get it.
no,
They don't know what it is. They don't get it. They're not even listening to anything like it. And we're doing, what is effectively the first EP, the London Hardcore EP. We're playing that over and over and over again. Every night we was there in St. Mark's playing that.
yeah,
People were like, oh, mate, what's this fucking shit? This is mad, mate. What are you doing? And, people didn't get it. And it's sort of demoralizing a little bit. But we just stuck at it. We just kept sticking at it. Kept saying,
yeah.
someone somewhere fucking likes this. I know they do. They must.
Because at
Can't
the end
just
of
be
the day,
us.
yeah, it can't just for a fact that if you like it, there's got to be other people that like that shit.
Yeah, it can't just be us who likes this shit. It can't be. And you just go to the record shops, and it was really rare to find hardcore.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? You found it, and you grabbed that CD and you bought it because
yeah.
somebody else was going to come in a minute later and buy it. So it was quite rare to find that sort of stuff. So, you just it's Pierre really. When he come along, he's go, oh yeah, man, enough people like that shit. Yeah, a lot of all these boys here, we got that boy there. I was like, what? Yeah, I've got, what you got in your record collection? Oh, I'm selling shit. My mate Rick to Life sends me stuff. Yeah, I can sell you this EP, that EP. I've got a record here, 7-inch, and we're buying stuff with him. I'm like, fucking, this is wicked.
Yeah,
It's in touch.
because that was it. Like, and this is a conversation that's been had many times on this podcast. Where it's like, our initial reaction was you'd find it through the record label. You'd go through the book on your CDs and see who they thanked, and the thanks list was what led us to all the shit we knew. I've said it. I got it through Roadrunner Records. I was into metal. Everything was on Roadrunner. Checked out the rest of their label. Found Madball. Found Biohazard. Found Vision to Disorder.
And they all thanked the same bands, didn't they? They always had. And I used to think, I haven't got that record. I need something by these guys. And you couldn't. There was nowhere to just, like now you go on Spotify or something, just type it in, it's there. But back then you had to go and physically fucking put the work in to find or, as the scene grew and as more people come into it, you should say, can you take that for me?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'll take you my whatever latest release of what I've managed to pick up. Yeah, I'm dying to get that. Give me your address. I'll tape it and send it to you. Send me that. And we'd be tape trading through the post. You know what I mean? And then they'd say, a lot of friends, there was one guy in Coulsdon I used to trade all the time with, and he'd fill up the tape with just different shit on the other side that I'd never heard. And I was like, what's this, man? This is good. And that's how I found Blood for Blood. He put a Blood for Blood song on the back of this tape, just one song. And I was like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah, because at the time they came out, they sounded a hell of a lot different to anything else that seemed to be going.
It was my perfect band. It was like a punk rock band that was hardcore. And I was like, this is the perfect band. They're angry, full of hate. This is it, man. This is my shit.
Yeah, I think
and Hatebreed and stuff like that. It's all come from tape trading. Hatebreed, Not One Truth was on the back of a tape one day. And I was like, what is this? I was losing my mind when I heard that.
And then so you was at the Sepultura show, obviously.
Yeah.
That is still one of the most iconic shows for UK hardcore.
Yeah.
Because that was like, I've said it, I think I was talking to Crow about it, like that was when the LBU kind of showed their face to a larger crowd sort of thing.
That shit broke out, that pit, man. That broke out like a hardcore pit. But the metal show had never seen anything like it.
No.
That crowd just got pushed to the side walls and everybody got hurt. It was great. That was a brilliant, brilliant gig. And also as well, I think there was that sort of, everyone was dying to see Hatebreed and they took so long to come here.
Yeah.
And by the time they got here, it was just like a burst of fucking, it was like a balloon bursting, man. The energy just come out of everyone when they heard them songs live. Like, dun, 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 dun. It was just
I remember it was either Rainsy or Simmons that grabbed me and pulled me down the front before Hatebreed started. They were like, oh, come down here, you'll like this. There's a good band. I was like, oh, cool. So I go down there. And then there was that weird thing where everyone of our lot was, and I didn't know most of you back then, so I just knew like them two or three. But everyone wasn't looking at the stage. Everyone was kind of looking back into the crowd.
Yeah.
And then as soon as like that first chord hit, I just remember seeing Ainsley just rear back and like smack someone. I was like, what the fuck is going on? And then it just fucking, obliterated. I think it was Simmons grabbed hold and was like,
it wasn't even music. They just plugged in and there was a bit of feedback or something. And everyone just started chinning. Everyone just started windmilling and chinning and kicking and fucking everything. It was just bedlam. It's going to be good.
I just remember literally, I think it was Ainsley or Simmons grabbed hold and was like, are you in or not? And I just went, fuck it, turn around and hit the next nearest person to me.
Yeah. Kick or hit or punch. Yeah, it was great.
I was just like, well, these are my mates. I'm in with that lot, so bang.
Yeah. That was great.
Some poor metal kid got folded just for the sake of like.
Yeah, I think I just see Simmons biting on someone's armpit. It's like, shit. Anyway, John, I think I'm going to have to cut you off, mate, because it's now. I don't mind telling the people of the podcast that it's 22:47 in the current climate. This is way past my bedtime. So, I'm an early rider.
Raise an old man.
Yeah, man. The 15-hour booze benders all weekend, they're over, mate. 10:30, I am fucked. Like, my missus about 9 o'clock says, you want to put a movie on? I'm like, are you mad at 9 o'clock?
I won't see the end of it.
It has to go on about 7 these days, mate, for me to get through it. So, cool. Anyway, I really appreciate you having me on here. It's been
appreciate
good
you being on, man. Good laugh.
Yeah. And all those people that, if we can spark any inspiration or ideas to come up with something, I don't care how new you are, if you've just been into this shit for a day and you want to do something in your town, hit us up, hit up the podcast, hit me up on Instagram on Ray Dust Free. Follow me anyway.
Yeah.
Try to keep it interesting. There's comedy content on there. And follow John, follow his podcast. What's your podcast Instagram?
The Kata Chronicles.
The Kata Chronicles. There you go. You message us through that.
Yeah.
We'll put you in touch with the people. Yeah, or Ready Eye. Yeah, the Ready Eye Collective.
You know, we're all working that as well.
We're all sitting at home bored off our tits dying to get involved and help you out. So let's do it.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, Ray, cheers for being on, mate. Good to talk to you again, catch up.
Thanks for having me. Cheers, mate. Take it easy.
Everyone else, take care of yourselves and we'll speak to you in a couple of weeks.